Marvel. Grabbed a drawer of infinity stones at the beginning. Chapter 41. But Natasha was already ready to agree to Chen Zai's conditions. She would not be fooled by jokes like this. To become stronger, she had to do this. I can only feel sorry for S.H.I.E.L.D., and Nick Fury is not a good guy. He has not fulfilled his promise until now. The promised infinite formula has been delayed for 2 years. After thinking about it, she became even more unwilling to give up and hugged Chen Zai's arm tightly and acted like a baby. You have to pay for what you get. This fool is really cheap. It's just this little friction that makes me angry again. She got angry herself, and Chen Shi also shouted that it was too much. Ahem, don't rub it. It's dry and dry. It's easy to get angry. Unable to break free, Chen Shi had no choice but to surrender. When faced with such a sugar-coated bomb, he had no choice but to eat it first as a courtesy. Forehead hair. Chen Shi quickly changed the topic. Ahem, let me ask you, are you selling cars here? Are you waiting for me here specifically? Chen Shi looked at this woman suspiciously. He was actually 100% sure that she was waiting for him specifically. Here it comes. This is what Natasha was waiting for. She immediately turned pitiful, blinked her big innocent eyes and sighed deeply, as if she could no longer live her life. We women spend a lot of money. I have to do beauty care and buy nice clothes and bags. You know Nick Fury, that black-hearted guy, he's a total loser. How about you accept me? Anyway, one more of me is not much. You already have 2 women. After speaking, he slowly raised his head and stared at Chen Shi with shining eyes. She is waiting for an answer. After Chen Shi heard this, he rolled his eyes. There was no truth in this girl's mouth. How could she be short of money? Chen Shi knew that this was surrender, and she decided. But in order to tease her, Chen Shi turned to look at the little maid number 18 on the other side. Dear little maid, Natasha is so pitiful. How about we take her in and make her your little maid? Number 18 rolled his eyes. He wanted to find a reason. However, she still cooperated and said, this little sister is so pitiful. It's okay if the master takes her in and she can be a common room girl at night. Natasha didn't know what the intercourse girl was, but she knew that Chen Shi had taken her under his wing. So she also glanced at number 18 gratefully. Thank you, sister. They were playing riddles here, and others only heard a general idea. Anyway, they were a rich young man who married a beautiful woman. All the male customers in the Fourth Son's shop looked down and paused. They stared at Natasha motionless as soon as they entered the door. I have never seen such a beautiful woman before, but such a seductive stunner is an advantage for the younger guys. If I had known they would have taken action, wouldn't it be just maintenance? They have a lot of money. Regret. They should be glad they didn't take action, otherwise Natasha wouldn't mind a few more eunuchs in the world. Chen Shi looked at these guys who were eager to rob and smiled disdainfully. Why is the famous Black Widow my nanny? You weaklings can only be envious and jealous. I just like the way you can't stand me and can't kill me. Hey. After Natasha thanked number 18, she turned to look at Chen Shi. Oh my boss is so awesome, I love you so much. Give me a kiss. While she was talking, she was jumping and twisting while hugging Chen Shi. Isn't this a foul? She is a big star in the movie. She is living in front of her. Although Natasha is charming and has a hot figure, her age makes people confused. Chen Shi is so confused that her balls hurt. To this day he still remembers one thing wrong. Natasha in the movie was born in 1984, and now she is at her most beautiful, youthful and charming. I can only say that she deserves it. Habitual thinking is very harmful. Marvel's timeline is extremely confusing, but this is the real world. Just like in a movie, the director can choose any role he wants, but in the real world, who can control their appearances? This world has endless possibilities. Looking at Natasha's head-turning figure, Chen Shi quickly suppressed her. Sister, calm down. By the way, director Black Braised Dan should be happy, right? Chen Shi quietly pointed to her ear again, indicating that she would cooperate with him. What is Chief Black Braised Egg? Who is he? She was stunned for a moment, then realized what she was doing, and burst out laughing. Her smile was as beautiful as a flower, and it was so beautiful that the other idiots around her were dumbfounded. Ha, boss, you are such an elf. The silver bell-like laughter can't help but make people look at him frequently. Nick Fury, who was on the other end of the miniature earphones, was so angry that he flew into a rage. His face, which was originally dark, now looked like black coal. Of course, if you don't look closely, you won't be able to tell. It's just like that. Don't he know that it's extremely unqualified to make fun of someone else's appearance? Chen Zik made Nick Fury so angry. He also knew clearly that this nickname would definitely spread from now on. When I thought about it, my face suddenly turned darker. Natasha, don't laugh. Your mission started very smoothly, so I won't say more to you. By the way, don't use this crap in the future. People will know that we use this to communicate. Also, this matter is not allowed to be spread to outsiders. Nick Fury said angrily. What's going on, Director? Natasha asked, knowingly. HMPH. You understand. Snap. Nick Fury snorted coldly and immediately turned off the signal. He is going to be so angry that he will probably be with him for the rest of his life. Just thinking about it makes me want to die. Your own happiness is indeed based on the pain of others. She really wanted to laugh, but it was uncomfortable to hold it in. Natasha's trembling big weapon danced so actively that Chen Shi was particularly impressed. The quality of this dress was amazing. To explode or not to explode? Oops, stop laughing, it's going to explode. Chen Shi helplessly pointed at Sister Natasha and reminded her not to be too cruel as she could easily explode. Aha! Natasha, who realized something was wrong, gave a reserved voice, and then quickly hugged her sister tightly with both hands. Okay, let's talk about remuneration. How much money will you give me to work for you? You have to get a salary, and you can't work for nothing. The salary given by S.H.I.E.L.D. is really low. Just look at Coulson and you will know that he lives a tight life and has not replaced his old car for so long, so he calls it love. You still want salary? Chen Shi exclaimed that it was incredible. There is such a thing as paying wages in the world. How come he doesn't know? What, you still want to be granted? Natasha was so angry that she pinched him hard. This bad guy. Well, it depends on how hard you work. Chen Shi decided not to tease her anymore. Isn't it just money? Money is not bad. Well, let's do this. I'll give you 300,000 a month. 300,000 US dollars. Natasha immediately covered her mouth and looked at Chen Shi in shock. Of course, what do you think? Zimbu. Bah, oh my god, didn't you report an extra zero? Natasha looked at Chen Shi with her trembling body, disbelief in her eyes. 300,000. Her monthly salary of life and death is just over 20,000. The black-hearted braised egg Nick Fury is the reincarnation of Grandit. Only Chen Shi knows that all the money this guy embezzled has been used to build bases and space carriers all over the world. Just when Chen Shi was shopping around Sizazi's store with his arms around him, and the people around him were envious and jealous, God was not in his favor. Boom, boom, boom. There was a burst of thunder and fire outside, and the ground shook and the mountains shook. The sound of explosions covered up the cries of crying fathers and mothers calling for help. Chen Shi was experiencing how good the shock absorption performance of this X6 was. This really came at the wrong time. Suddenly, a small rocket exploded in front of Fourth Son's store. With a bang, the glass of the entire Fourth Son's shop shattered all over the floor, making everyone run away in fear. Mom, help, God, run, run, it must be another bank robber. Quick, quick, quick. Back door, run through the back door. Someone come and save me. My leg was scratched. For a time, the entire Fourth Son store was in chaos, with customers everywhere shouting at each other and shouting at each other. At this moment, I don't care about any gentlemanly demeanor anymore. I just regret that my parents have lost 2 legs. As long as you run faster than others, you won't be the one who dies. Mad. This is a free country. Great. There really is no day in peace. Doesn't it feel good to go one day without shooting, Sky? The good mood was ruined. Chen Shi cursed and walked out of the car unhappy. It is indeed the masterpiece that saved Marvel. It directly activated the world. The curtain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was opened by Tony Stark, and all the characters appeared. This is the world of great strife in the novel. People and ghosts all come to show off their existence. However, Chen Shi is naturally a talented person and bold, and the hail of bullets is like playing house in his eyes. At this moment, Natasha's face was gloomy, her appearance completely changed, from a charming fox to a Charlie's Angels. At critical moments, become calm and decisive. Natasha immediately took out her gun and fired a warning shot into the air. Everyone calm down now. I am an FLB CIA agent. The situation is urgent now. There are bullets and bullets outside. The more panic you get, the more dangerous you are. Everyone should leave from the fire escape in an orderly manner. Upon hearing the presence of official agents, the panicked crowd was immediately brought under control, followed the arrangements, and chose to leave in an orderly manner. It has to be said that having a background is easy. Natasha is calm, commanding well and unhurried, which makes Chen Shi take a high look. Why did such a sassy widow receive a box lunch? She died when everyone was resurrected. It was so unfair, and how many people were upset. No one in the Marvel world understands her mind. She seems unscrupulous and extremely complicated at the same time. No one understands what she does. And no one could have imagined that Natasha, who was so murderous, would finally lift Thor's hammer, which represented justice, and that was enough. Boom, boom, chirp, boom. Another powerful rocket exploded outside the door. This time it seemed to be more powerful. The explosion destroyed the surrounding buildings, cars, flowers, plants and trees. This time, the powerful Lambo driver who had not even driven a few times when Chen Shi also died in the smoke. Chen Zai's face suddenly darkened. He was so deceitful. I didn't even think about doing anything to you, but you actually bullied me. I'm looking for death. Chen Shi is angry, which means someone will die. Lolly, let's go out and see what kind of blind guy is so arrogant here. Give him a ride. Okay, dear master, it's me this time. I haven't done anything yet. Seemingly sensing Chen Zai's anger, number 18 was also angry. At this moment, helicopters, tanks, and armored vehicles are all falling outside Fourth Sun's store. Is this a rebellion? Who can have such a large formation, and no robber can mobilize such a large number of troops, right? Chen Shi looked around and finally discovered it. The target of the army is not an international thief or a supercriminal robber at all, but a big green guy with a particularly eye-catching logo of a magic weapon, Big Pants. What's going on? Why is he still the green fat man? Isn't he hiding in Tony's house to help develop the armor? Chen Shi was confused for a while, but at this time, he naturally wanted to stand on the sidelines and watch the excitement. Don't watch free movies. He was not in a hurry to settle the score. The fight was in full swing, and various buildings and cars were as brittle as paper in the hands of the green fat man, He Haohan. The art of explosion. At this time, while others were hiding far away for fear of being affected, a man excitedly rushed to the edge of the battlefield with an extremely beautiful woman who looked like she had stepped out of a comic book. Just listen to him shouting excitedly. Well done, Banner, come on, kill this disgusting guy abomination. You hate it, don't you have an IQ? Go up and choke the fat green guy. There is a ready-made boxing glove like a car nearby. Grab him and hit him on the head. Chen Shi was watching the excitement and cheering without taking it too seriously. Everyone who saw it was speechless. This madman has a girlfriend. Let him pretend. Humph, let's see how you die. Let you pretend. Die. You die to labor. Chen Zai's voice spread so far that Hulk, who was on the battlefield 100 meters away, didn't recognize Chen Shi. At that time, Chen Shi transformed into Colossus, and only a ghost could recognize him. Although Hulk was a little kid with an IQ of only 7 or 8 years old, he understood after hearing Chen Zai's cry. This is an extremely flexible fat paper. He can grab a truck with just a swish, regardless of whether it will explode or not. Such a sting. The truck was as fragile as paper in Hulk's hands and was torn in half. Hulk holds the front of the car with his left hand and the cabin with his right hand. These boxing gloves are quite good. It's so powerful. Chen Shi had to admire this scene. The Marvel world is the Marvel world. Nothing needs a reasonable explanation, people just don't explode. The battlefield is changing rapidly. The armed Hulk is so confident that he raises his hand and punches Abomination in the face. A set of tortoise punches hit Abomination with no backhand power, and even caused Abomination to vomit disgusting yellow blood. Hulk's behavior really echoes the old saying. This means that there is no way to win, but there is a way to win. As Lao Xing said, there is no way to do this. How to break it? The Hulk's tortoise punches with sparks and lightning were all the way to greet hatred. In the end, sparks hit the earth and ignited the gasoline all over the ground. Boom boom boom. Damaged and intact cars on the roadside exploded one after another. The special effects were explosive. Fire shot into the sky. The special edition of the American blockbuster on site made Chen Shi extremely addicted. Explode, explode, boom, boom. Hundreds of cars filled the streets and alleys, creating the ultimate explosive blockbuster effect. The hatred that was knocked unconscious by Hulk's fools seemed to be awakened. Is this dissatisfied weapon? Although the power of Abomination and Hulk is very different, Abomination is an adult in monster skin, and Hulk is an alternative child with impressive IQ. Abomination was born when Soldier Bronski was unwilling to retire and took the risk of using General Ross's super soldier serum and irradiating him with gamma rays. The birth of Abomination can be regarded as a miracle. He is a castrated version of the Hulk who retains his sanity. It can be said to be a semi-successful product. Except for that layer of skin, he is just like a normal person. Even though his ability is not at the same level as that of the Green Fat Man, he is not far behind now. The Green Fat Man in the movie has been weakened too much. The expensive special effects have caused all the top heroes to be unable to keep up, while ordinary heroes have greatly shortened the gap between them. No, in a vague way, the hatred-wearing boxing gloves and the Fat Green Man were able to gain a slight upper hand when they were fighting each other. All go, it's not fair. Ross's bullets and cannonballs are disgusting to him. This green fat guy is obviously in a hurry and has too much work to do. Chen Shi had to say that Ross and the others were the real masters, and they would take down the Green Fat Man by any means necessary. This is a fight with the Fat Green Man. Ding ding ding. Ding ding ding. The bullets rained down on the Green Fat Man's body like a steel plate. Although it was not painful or itchy, wasn't this an extreme challenge to his patience? Is this a rhythm that will annoy him to death? Or is this a rhythm that intends to annoy him to death? The constant harassment made the Green Fat Man's eyes unbearable. The anger in his eyes was full, and he wanted to burst out with stronger power. The angrier you are, the stronger you become. Roar. The Fat Green Man roared angrily and unleashed an astonishing amount of power. He was going to kill the annoying flies in front of him at all costs. His patience is really limited, and his IQ is also very limited. Suddenly, with a flash of his eyes, he started running fast, carrying the hail of bullets, and rushed in front of the tank to wreak havoc. He jumped up high and smashed down hard. Every time he jumped, he crushed a tank into a piece of paper. He casually twisted the barrel of the cannon and threw it into the sky, which meant a plane crashed. Hulk hit the plane with every hit. After a while, more than a dozen pancake-shaped tanks on the ground were permanently scrapped with traces of blood. The cars, motorcycles, streetlights, telephone poles, etc. on the roadside all became his cannonballs, hitting the helicopter in the sky. Bew, bew, bew. Chirp. A few more unlucky helicopters were shot down by the Green Fat Man's invincible skills. Chen Shi felt that he was a professional and he should not be able to do anything but only do that. The surviving helicopter was so frightened that it quickly raised its position, away from the Hulk's attack range, and called for support. The Green Fat Man was excited, and his IQ was finally positive. Taking advantage of this gap, Abomination quickly made a sneak attack and threw the Green Fat Man far away. Then he accelerated and jumped up high to crush the top of the mountain. Boom! At this moment, the Green Fat Man was directly driven into the ground more than 1 meter deep, and dust suddenly flew up. He was ready to elbow the Green Fat Man on the head with unreasonable hatred. This was a tight fight, and the Green Fat Man was probably going to become bloated. Sooner or later, when hatred stood up and struck with an elbow, the Green Fat Man directly kneed hatred and hit the butt of hatred hard. Ah! The hatred immediately let out a cruel roar. It hurt. The pain penetrated into the bone marrow. This kind of pain has reached an unbearable level. If there is anything that is 10 times more painful than Ling Kai, it is his current pain in the balls. Hatred has heard a cracking sound. The egg is broken. The Green Fat Man's 800 tons of power, even if he folded it in half in a hurry, it would be a knee strike. Even a titanium alloy egg cannot withstand such a collision. How else can we say that true knowledge comes from actual combat? Liu Peng learns and applies it flexibly, and he gains wisdom every time he learns. In desperation, he suddenly remembered the trick Chen Shi used on him. Roar! The green fat man is really happy like an 800-pound fat man. The situation on the court caught Rose off guard. The green fat man was really a tough nut to crack. General, what should we do? Now Abomination is no match for the Hulk. Should we use missile attacks? Seeing that the Hulk could no longer resist, they began to request the use of heavy weapons to blow him unconscious. As for the civilians, the damage caused, sorry, this is what you deserve. They dare to launch atomic bombs on New York, what else can they not dare to do? If you die unfortunately, I can only blame you for remembering it. Anyway, you are here to watch a show and watch someone die. If you are killed in a bombing, you can't blame the military. There are quite a few people watching the show now. Of course, they are thousands of meters away from the battlefield, but Chen Shi is not included on the 18th. The two of them were just about to stand in front of the enemy, and they were definitely in the best position, as they were closer to the thief. Okay, listen to you. General Ross is a vicious and ruthless guy. Over the years, many people who wanted to capture Hulk were directly killed. They paid for it. This was all routine operations. Now he had a bad start again, which made his face extremely gloomy, and he spoke in anger without hesitation. Dong dong dong. Dong dong dong. The helicopter glanced at the green fat man, which once again ignited the green fat man's anger. Come again. It's not over yet. He roared at the helicopter and chased after it. This is Ross's purpose, to lead him to the suburbs and directly bombard this big guy with missiles. Under their design, they arrived in the suburbs of Manhattan, New York, in just a few minutes. They are ready. Ex-wife missiles ready. Ready. General. Emission. When General Ross gave the order, an ex-wife missile carried by a certain helicopter was launched directly. It drags its long white tail and roars in. Fake. Fake. This is a missile. Madman. As the military crazy. This is New York. We're going to sue him. Sue him. Fark. Oh my God. Help. Are there no people in the suburbs? No, there are also small wild areas in the suburbs, but the losses can be reduced to a very low level. Of course, there were also onlookers here, and they were so scared that they cried. This is so crazy. Some of them cursed, but the vast majority of people have fallen into despair and fear. Even if you don't die, you will still be shocked to the point of bleeding to death. This is not a simple explosion but a too strong shock wave. It was too late to regret. There was nothing but fear and despair in his eyes. There were many people who were so scared that they peed their pants. Even Chen Shi was shocked. This Ross is really crazy. He is more of a terrorist than a terrorist, right? As a melon eater, Chen Shi naturally followed him. Seeing Ross being so unscrupulous, his face became gloomy. This guy is a bit cruel. Does he have thoughts about himself? That's easy to handle. When he shows up later, he will definitely attack me tonight, so I will find a reason to kill him. You can't keep a guy who is eyeing you like this. For a clown, you have to kill him with thunderous means. General Ross himself killed the chicken to scare the monkey, and frightened the little chicken in the dark. Chen Shi made up his mind and showed a mysterious smile. This feeling of being in control was a bit good, and he was even more looking forward to it. Rose seems to have only seen himself in a steel state, so let number 18 take action. He should also covet No 18's genes, haha. On the 18th, she saw Chen Shi showing a mysterious smile. Although she could not guess what bad intentions this unscrupulous master had, she knew that he must have plotted against others. I rolled my eyes. The master is so bad, but I love him so much. Before Chen Shi asked her to take action, she volunteered and said, "Dear badass master, do you want me to give them a ride?" "What do you mean by my dear badass master? You just need to clean up." Snap. Chen Shi patted her skin gently and scolded her with a smile. "Go and finish it off. If you dare to speak ill of the master, I'll get you beaten." "Oh, bad master, you are wrong." After saying that, he pinched Chen Shi hard. Chen Shi glanced sideways at this naughty little woman and begged for mercy, but why was her body so dishonest? He was so angry that he slapped it hard again, and the waves suddenly rolled. The elasticity was really absolute, and I couldn't put it down. Chen Shi squeezed reluctantly and said with lingering meaning, Be honest, did you hear me? You saw that big green guy, just knock him out. And when you see that disgusting big guy, just slap him to death. Chen Shi made gestures for number 18 with his hands while arranging what she had to do. Not to mention, this abomination's self-healing ability is not bad. After the egg was broken, it actually recovered within a few minutes and rushed to the battlefield. Number 18 was well aware of Chen Zai's shameless behavior. He was very impatient on his face, but very happy in his heart. Hee, even the bad guy like his master can't stop his charm. He is so charming to this bad guy. She pretended to be arrogant and said impatiently, "Stop touching blindly, you never have enough to eat, you are so annoying. Isn't it the big green guy and the big shit yellow guy? I know. Leave it to me. It just so happens that I haven't met an opponent for so long. Let me stretch my muscles today." After speaking, number 18 twisted her fingers, crooked her neck, and spoke coquettishly, full of eagerness to try. It must be said that this is also a woman with violent genes. Wait a minute, let's get some fresh blood from the Hulk when we fight. Hee, it will save us the trouble of having to transform him in the future. Just when number 18 was about to attack, Chen Shi suddenly stopped her. "I know, you scoundrel bad master," number 18 shouted coolly without looking back, and she rushed in slowly as she geared up. "Why do you need the Hulk's blood? Isn't this the hive base that just got umbrella? Why don't we make good use of it? Maybe we can get a super T-virus serum. The T-virus serum that can greatly improve physical fitness may become more powerful and awaken superpowers." He really believes in the incredible ability of these native Marvel people. There is nothing they can't do. Wouldn't the addict sentinel become invincible with just a bottle of potion? As long as Chen Shi has the Hulk's blood, he will hand it over to the arranged Red Queen for study in 2 days. If he goes to kidnap again, no, he will hire a few Dr. Lizard, Dr. Octopus or something like that with high salary. With these technological giants in the animal world and Umbrella's biotechnology, although he does not expect to clone an accidental product like the Hulk, it is still possible to get some castrated version of the Super T-virus serum, right? Hatred of shit yellow. Hey, just thinking about it makes me so nervous. Chen Shi really doesn't like it. This guy is a bit disgusting. He's yellow and full of vicious barbs. Actually, it's really not your fault that you're ugly, but if you come out to scare me, then it's your fault. Chen Shi is still dreaming here, but number 18 over there has risen into the sky, and the air dance technique is quite useful. There are countless surveillance cameras in the outside world, and there are military and civilian satellites all over the sky. Such a majestic operation has long attracted the attention of the United States. On the 18th, under the astonished gazes of people across the United States, I directly fell in love with my ex-wife. Wake it up for me. The petite body of number 18 hugged his ex-wife Missile tightly. He let out a sweet cry, and the veins on his face jumped. Then he shook her hard and changed the direction. The 18th shocked the United States at this moment and made them completely excited. God, is this a goddess? Mutants, super mutants. Don't all mutants only have one mutant ability? What is going on? Oh my gosh, this woman reminds me of a guy, a total crazy mutant. You mean Magneto? No, she is far worse than Magneto. No, she's a superhero. She's saving civilians. Wow, so cool. What a handsome heroine. Whether it was live or on TV, the melon-eating crowd in front of the computer burst into strong cheers. They were celebrating the 18th, and the roof almost fell over. More people jumped on the sofa, table, and chairs and yelled loudly. This is free America, a crazy country that extremely worships individual heroism. Beauty, hero, mutant, war, save the world. Any element can make people's hearts beat faster and make them excited, not to mention the combination of these exciting elements. Just then, what? Look, Virgin Mary. Oh my God, this totally crazy woman. She's a super heroine. Ha ha ha, well done. I like this bad temper. Yes, that's right. Kill these criminals who don't care about the lives of civilians. Oh God, how dare she? How dare she? This is contempt for the military. Yes, that's right. Number 18 held his ex-wife's missile and flew straight towards a helicopter at high speed. A few seconds later, In the shocked, surprised, and horrified eyes of all the melon eaters, number 18 hit a helicopter with his ex-wife's missile. Boom! The fire is soaring into the sky. The unlucky helicopter exploded into pieces. Where are the people? Where are the people? Where did she go? Perished together. Impossible. No one would be so stupid. Look, isn't that her? Everyone's eyes were looking everywhere. They didn't believe that this heroine would be stupid enough to die together. Sure enough, they soon saw the heroine appeared on the ground, standing proudly. Is this the top mutant? General Ross was so shocked that he didn't know how to describe the power of number 18 in words. Ha ha ha, get her, get her. Last time, the Steel Man didn't know what he looked like, but this time. She can't run away. Then he laughed crazily. His face was ferocious, and the fire in his eyes was unreserved. General, what should we do? The adjutant was so frightened that he stammered, with a strong look of fear in his eyes. Is this person someone they can deal with? Run away quickly and think about it long term. They were obviously frightened to death by No 18's madness. Why does a small body contain so much power? But before they could react to this crazy scene, a sonic boom caused by golden lightning instantly made the hundreds of soldiers and people around them roll over with their heads in their hands. This was intentional on the 18th. A group attack turned all the soldiers into trash. A bunch of scum. Number 18 snorted disdainfully, and then rushed in front of Abomination with lightning speed. The super speed was activated at full speed. He clenched his fist with his right hand, and with a look of hatred and horror, he hit his chin with a vicious uppercut. At this moment, Abomination could only move his thoughts and could not move his eyes. He was so scared. What kind of magic is this? He felt like he was really going cold. Bang! There was a muffled groan in No 18's ears, and then there was a loud noise from outside, like an earthquake. The crowd of onlookers had not yet woken up from the shock, and they suddenly woke up. They only felt a huge yellow unknown object flash past in front of their eyes, and then the thing was like a cannonball, making a deep crater. Taking a closer look, it turned out that the superheroine had already stepped hard on the yellow-skinned monster's back. Of course, hatred will not die easily. This guy's vitality is very tenacious, and he can't be beaten to death. After being severely injured by number 18, my brain and heart were still beating slightly, and the beating was slowly speeding up. This guy is recovering. His self-healing abilities are helping him slowly heal from the severe injuries he suffered. Haha, that's interesting. Number 18 looked at Abomination and smiled with interest. There was something about this yellow-skinned monster. What a pity, that's the end of it. Number 18 looked at Hatred and sneered, and was ready to deal with this guy directly. Quick, fire, interfere with her actions. Don't let her solve the Abomination. Seeing this, General Ross suddenly felt something bad. Number 18 raised his hand, and unknown energy began to condense in his hand. He could feel the huge aura even from a distance. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. Air fire support came immediately. This time they did not dare to launch the ex-wife missiles. Hatred was already dying and could not withstand such devastation. If you launch a missile from your ex-wife, you will definitely die if you hate him, but the woman will definitely be unscathed. Vulcan Gatlin's fire snakes poured down for free, and the micro-missiles came one after another. Laurie, do you need help? Chen Shi asked with concern. Although he believed in his heart that number 18 would not be harmed by these weapons, his woman would inevitably be worried. No, thank you, bad master. Number 18 was very touched and replied sweetly. After saying that, she focused on two tasks and arranged an oval-shaped air mask directly 1 foot in front of herself. Ding ding ding, ding dang dang. The bullets and micro-missiles were unable to use the air shields at all, and no effect was fed back to General Ross. They were stunned and invincible. What kind of mutant is this? It has great strength, great defense, and it can fly. Then, they made an even more incredible discovery, and it seemed that was more than that, right? In their sight, number 18 soared rapidly, and a ray of extreme white light almost blinded their titanium alloy dog eyes. Chi circle slash. After a scolding, a disc-shaped throwing air bomb with a slashing effect formed on her palm. Then the disc of light struck at Abomination, who was struggling to get up, like lightning, but it was too late. Puff! The Chi Yuan slash is like chopping melons and vegetables, easily cutting off the hideous head of Hatred. Gulu, Gulu. The blown head rolled several times and then stopped at the feet of the fat green man. Is there such a good thing? The green fat man was overjoyed. He had long been unhappy with this shit yellow monster and always went against him. Bang! The green fat man stepped forward and kicked the unlucky guy like a watermelon. This is how Blonsky's life ended, and his sad career as an experimental subject ended. Perhaps only he knew what it felt like to be neither a human nor a ghost. Number 18 slowly landed, patted his delicate hands, and said proudly to Chen Shi, "Did you see, am I very powerful?" "Awesome, awesome, super heroine." Chen Shi also smiled and gave her a thumbs up. "Be careful, behind you." Chen Shi suddenly discovered that Hulk actually rushed towards No. 18. After crushing the hatred with just one kick, Hulk's desire for destruction was even more aroused. He wanted to destroy. The number 18 in front of him is a strong man. It is more in line with his simple thinking that he must defeat such a strong man. Boom, boom, boom. Hulk rushed over with a step that he didn't recognize. The grass could not hold up at all, leaving huge footprints. Roar. Don't think Hulk is bulky just because he's tall, but that's not the case at all. He was very flexible, clenched his fist the size of a basin, and pointed directly at No 18's head. And number 18 is really petite in front of Hulk. One arm can be as big as hers alone, but this doesn't really count. The fist in his pupils was getting bigger and bigger. Number 18 didn't panic and punched Hung directly in the face of the disproportionate fist. Is it okay if you are tall and strong? Are you powerful? Sorry, my power is not inferior to yours. She likes this kind of hard the most. Wouldn't it be more comfortable to torture her? Boom. One is the size of a wash basin, and the other is only the size of a sandbag. They are completely evenly matched under a fierce attack. A wave of air burst out from the fists of the two men, sweeping through all the ruins around them. For a moment, dust flew up, and trees, flowers and grass were directly swept into the air. Roar. However, the pain always comes a little late. Hulk was shaken by the shock and took a few steps back. Every step he took would sink deeply into the soil, and his arms were numb and a little painful. Hulk stabilized his body and shook his arm, as if he could shake off the pain. On the other hand, number 18 looked like a normal person, smiling and looking at Hulk calmly. At this time, Ross did not interrupt the duel between the two, but just observed from a distance. He wanted to see how powerful number 18 was. System, what level is No. 18? He is really powerful, stronger than the Hulk in normal state. Chen Shi, who was a little surprised, couldn't help but ask the system. Back to the host, number 18 is a sub-Tianfu level powerhouse in this world. Of course, her combat power of 46 million in the Dragon Ball world is really exaggerated. The world of Dragon Ball is so outrageous. It has hundreds of millions and billions of fighting power at every turn, but many creatures can't live forever. Is this really the case? According to the existence of Dragon Ball, which explodes stars at every turn, space and matter are too fragile, and its combat power in a later stage is completely reduced. At this moment, there was an obvious change on the field. After Hulk regained his balance, number 18 rushed over, just to despise you. Poof. The speed was so fast that Hulk had no time to react. His fist had already hit his big face, and a tooth shot out, accompanied by a ball of green blood. Hulk had his teeth knocked out. How is this possible? The most surprised person was General Ross and the others. As old rivals, they knew that Hulk could at most be stunned by missiles and have his teeth knocked out. How powerful is this? The jaws of the melon eaters have dropped. It all happened too fast. Their eyes are enough, but their heads are not. I was so stunned that I couldn't react. In the flash of lightning, the yellow skin that was so fierce just now has become completely cold, and the green skin that represents the healthy color is already half cold. Pooh. At this time Hulk spit out blood and smiled evilly. Darling, this is the shot, it's a stroke of genius. Chen Shi looked at Hulk with surprise on his face. This guy's smile was like a textbook teaching. Every time Hulk smiles like this, he gets hammered. Sure enough, number 18 felt that this guy was seriously provoking me. How could I tolerate my violent temper? I will let you know why the flowers are green today. This time she was not polite and started to move at a high speed. In Hulk's confused eyes, the petite soles became bigger and bigger. The next second, the size 36 high heels slapped his size 50 green face hard. Bang! A really beautiful shoe print was printed on his face, and then number 18 hit his head mercilessly with a whip leg. Thump! This time, the green fat man could no longer smile evilly, and he fell straight to the ground, becoming a dead fish. HMPH. Let you provoke. Let you provoke. Number 18 angrily kicked this guy a few more times, it was just too much trouble. Okay, hurry up. If this guy faints, he will soon turn into Banner and wake up. Seeing number 18 still beating Hulk, Chen Shi quickly stopped her. Ah, this guy has rough skin and thick flesh. Ordinary weapons can't scratch his skin at all. On the 18th, the tiger eats the sky, and I don't know where to eat. Fool, Chen Shi tapped her little head lightly. Don't you know how to use Chi Circle Slash? Just give his arm a light blow. It dawned on me on the 18th. Yes, then she gathered a circle of Chi and slashed Hulk's arm, and blood flowed out immediately. Chen Shi quickly took out a bottle to collect the precious blood. Do it again. Cut the artery. In less than 10 seconds, the wound had healed, and Chen Shi asked number 18 to continue cutting it severely. Poof. It's better now. Green blood was gushing out. Chen Shi was overjoyed. It was enough now. After healing this time, he had collected enough blood. At this time, Hulk slowly faded away and turned into classmate Banner wearing magic underpants. Banner woke up slowly. When he opened his eyes in a daze, he found Chen Shi looking at him with a smile. You, Chen Shi, what do you want to do? Why are you looking at me so weirdly? Banner was shocked. Didn't this guy want to experiment on me? Suddenly he turned his eyes and saw that Chen Shi was actually holding a bottle of green blood in his hand, and his face suddenly turned pale. Oh my god, do you really want to experiment on me? Banner felt a huge pain in his balls, but he still had a slight impression of what had just happened. The woman next to Chen Shi is very strong. Hulk can't defeat her and he can't escape. What to do? What to do? Waiting online. Boom. Chen Shi gave him a hard blow. What are you thinking about? Am I that kind of person? Banner wants to say but dare not say, you are not that kind of person. Look at the bottle in your hand, I know you have already done it. What are you? Don't look at how broad-minded I am with your narrow vision. Chen Shi immediately interrupted him, bragging shamelessly. Cluck, cluck. When number 18 heard this, she quickly covered her mouth and snickered. Her shaking shoulders could tell how uncomfortable she was trying not to laugh. Smile, smile, I'll make you look good later. Chen Shi raised his eyebrows and looked at the little woman who was causing trouble. He had already thought about how to use super speed to treat her at night. Do you want to know the spear's ability to strike 100 times per second? If it weren't for the fear of friction and fire, he could strike 1,000 times per second, causing the girls to explode in an instant. Tonight, we need to stack them up like a stack of arhats, with her on top and Wanda on the bottom. This will be much more convenient. Once you move at super speed, you won't feel the spear leaving at all. With a mysterious smile, Chen Shi took the two of them and teleported home directly. Only the jaws on the ground were left. God, that guy is also a mutant, teleporting. Wow, this ability is so cool. When will I awaken as a mutant? Shish, you want to die, don't you know that there are some things you shouldn't say nonsense? Superpowers are always so cool, addictive and imaginative, and everyone wants them. But it is not about scarcity but about inequality. This sentence is true wherever it is placed. Don't worry about poverty but worry about wealth inequality. It's that simple. It's okay if everyone doesn't have it, but I'm afraid some people have it and some don't. Your neighbor has suddenly awakened. He may be able to fly, escape from the ground, see through invisibility, control water and fire, have infinite power, and even live forever. Can your mentality not explode? Why can he have it but I can't? Envy. All original sins. Then there are people who hate mutants and try to kill them, so that the psychology can be balanced. The more powerful you become, the more dangerous you become. Your enemies will not make you stronger because they are afraid of you becoming stronger. Your friends and family won't make you stronger because they are jealous of you becoming stronger. Putting aside the comments from the melon-eating crowd, General Ross has fiery eyes. What a good experimental subject. A super mutant, with strength, speed in defense, and excellent in all aspects, is enough for him to take risks. His smile gradually became abnormal, as if victory was within reach. After feeling secretly happy for a while, he suppressed his smile and whispered softly to the adjutant. Jones, you follow my arrangements, like this, and then. His deputy, Jones, nodded repeatedly, and a sinister smile slowly emerged. He immediately saluted with a smile on his face and shouted loudly, General, please rest assured and promise to complete the mission. Will everything go according to their ideas? A group of ants are plotting against an elephant. They have no idea that they are facing an existence that is far beyond their own. The camera panned to Chen Shi. He had already brought Banner to the villa. He had a lot of questions. He and Banner came to the back garden and sat down. He stared at Banner and looked him up and down, making him go crazy. What do you want? Why are you looking at me like that? Banner asked weakly. He was frightened by Chen Shi. Could it be that his secret had been discovered? It shouldn't be. Chen Shi chuckled. Banner, let me ask you, did you sneak out to meet Betty and be discovered by General Ross? Ah, how do you know? Banner called out in surprise and suddenly reacted, but it was too late and he couldn't even admit it. Haha, how do I know? I am a half-immortal who can understand the past and predict the future. How do you think I know? Chen Shi said that he was so awesome that giving him a beard would help him act like a magic stick, but can Banner believe it? Banner looked stunned, unable to react for a moment, and was stunned. There's no need to brag like that, right? You know the past so well and can predict the future, why don't you go to heaven? But naturally I couldn't say these words, I could only look at Chen Zai's obvious disbelief in embarrassment. Banner was speechless for a moment and didn't know what to say. What, you don't believe it? How about we make a bet? Chen Shi knows that this guy doesn't believe it, so that'll be easy. What I want is that you don't believe it. Let's see if you can fall into the trap. What kind of bet? Are you betting on your prophecy? Banner's expression changed and he blurted out, as a doctor, there is no need to mention his IQ. Clever, Chen Shi said with a smile. Then what are you betting on? Banner is also interested, betting on the future. It's interesting. Let's bet on whether General Ross will attack my place tonight. Chen Shi smiled mysteriously. He was sure that Ross would definitely cause trouble for him, or to be precise, trouble for No. 18. He is the one who inspires to create a super-powered army. As for his purpose, I don't know. It's not a good thing anyway. When Banner heard this, he immediately decided to gamble. In his opinion, just for the sake of hatred, Ross would not easily avenge a dead person. It was not worth it. Okay, I promise you that. After thinking for a second, Banner made a decision. So what's our bet? He asked again. This is the fun of gambling, what is the most important thing to gamble on? Bet, this is easy. Chen Shi smiled and said, here it comes. Here it comes. Take in the bait. If I win, you will be my subordinate from now on. I ask you to chase chickens but not dogs. You must obey my orders 100%. Otherwise, you understand. When Banner heard this, he said, hey, isn't this a bit too big a bet? I've put my whole life on the line with this bet. It's such a loss, how could I agree? I'm not a fool, so how could I agree? Just as he was about to refuse, he heard Chen Zai's faint voice. Don't you want to hear what the stakes will be if you win? Banner's expression froze, and he immediately stopped speaking. He hesitated. Yes, the bets are all equal, or one party needs it. Since Chen Shi can bet so big, he will naturally not come up with anything to fool him. Banner understood everything and couldn't wait to ask, what bet are you willing to put up to play with me? Hee, isn't this just a trap? Whether you betray others or betray yourself, it's just a difference in the chips. Chen Shi stared at Banner and said seriously every word with his longing eyes. I can eliminate the Hulk personality. Thump. Banner jumped up in excitement, knocking over the chair. What? Can you really eliminate the Hulk? Are you serious? How are you going to do it? Banner's eyes were fixed on Chen Zai's eyes, and his hands were nervously grasping Chen Zai's arms, unusually nervous and expecting. He is almost going crazy from torture. Whenever he is angry, nervous or excited, Hulk will always appear. Then there is non-stop destruction. He no longer has a home and is homeless. Who would want to be homeless if he could be stable? He has been wandering alone in the world for a long time. You have to be calm. Calm down, aren't you afraid of transforming? While speaking, Chen Shi noticed a trace of green light floating in Banner's eyes. This was a sign of emotional instability in the appearance of the Hulk, so he had to remind him gently. When Banner heard this, he quickly took a few deep breaths. After he calmed down a little, he couldn't help but ask, "What are you going to do?" This is what he cares about most. Haha, what should I do? You will know. Now is not the time to tell you, otherwise it will not work. Chen Shi spoke so vaguely that he looked like a magician, and Banner even felt that he was deceiving him. In fact, as long as Loki of this world invades the Earth with the Mind Stone, everything will be easy to say. As long as he activates a few Mind Gems in his hand and immediately merges them into Super Mind Gems, it will be easy. How can a mere Hulk personality from the movie universe stop such a super killer? How is it possible? Therefore, Chen Shi is not worried at all that he can't do it. If it doesn't work, isn't there a system? This is the last resort, there is really no other choice but to do this. This. Banner hesitated and hesitated. To gamble or not to gamble? This is a lifelong matter. His whole life has been like this, and he can only be tortured endlessly by the Hulk. Sooner or later, the Hulk will be so powerful that he can directly devour his own personality. It doesn't matter if you gamble or lose, how much worse can it be? The future of my life is already bleak and dark. If I take a gamble and succeed, then the road will be smooth. So what should I do? Banner was uncertain, his eyes rolling around, obviously considering the pros and cons of the match. I don't know how much time passed, but Banner finally made up his mind. He raised his head and stared at Chen Shi, looking at him deeply, as if he wanted to get an answer from Chen Zai's eyes. However, Chen Zai's eyes were as deep as the sea of stars, and he couldn't notice anything. Banner sighed dejectedly. Okay, I'll bet. Banner made a bet. Did he take the bait? Very good. Very good. Chen Shi chuckled. Congratulations on making the right choice, you will be glad you made your choice. I hope so. Banner was noncommittal and hummed slightly. Seeing Chen Shi so sure, he always felt that he had lost. He was so calm, as if everything was under his control. Yes, Chen Shi had planned everything, and Banner was naturally a part of this plan, and it was also the most critical part. To prevent Banner from joining the Avengers, why? What is Avengers? Tools controlled by others, so why can't we control these NPCs ourselves? When you come here, everything will change. I come, I see, I conquer. As for whether to help Banner eliminate Hulk's personality and merge them into one. It's hard to say this. Whitewashing is 9 times weaker, while blackening is 10 times stronger. Banner's character is too cowardly and soft. Forget it, let's talk about it later. If you can't control it, destroy it. It depends on whether Hulk is obedient or not. I hope Hulk knows the current situation, otherwise the sharpest sword cannot be used by me, then it will be destroyed. Chen Zai's eyes flashed with fierceness. Seeing the trace of cruelty flashing through Chen Zai's eyes, Banner's pupils shrank in fright and his heart beat wildly. It felt like the Hulk in his body was about to explode. Not only himself, but even the Hulk had a feeling. He was already walking back and forth on the edge of life and death, and could fall into the endless abyss at any time. The person who controls his own destiny is the person in front of him. This person has always been calm, but he can't understand the person in front of him from the beginning. Being idle, with light wind and light rain, wandering among the flowers, is it considered exhaustive or mature and ruthless? He really couldn't understand. After knowing each other for so long, Banner found that Chen Shi had too many faces. He doesn't know which one is him at all. Or are these all him? There may be a lot more of him that hasn't been revealed yet. At this time, Chen Shi stood up and left, smiling and giving Banner a meaningful look. Banner stared blankly at Chen Shi leaving without saying a word. He knew he lost. There was no hope. On the other side, S.H.I.E.L.D. was intensely discussing the midday battle. The large conference room is now packed with seats, and all agents above level 5 are present. Nick Fury, who was sitting in the first place, looked gloomy, and his big black face could not be darker. Seeing that all the agents had arrived, the silent Nick Fury turned on the projection without saying a word. Swish, swish, swish. All the agents looked at the projection. Naturally, they had heard about what happened at noon. Many people have also seen leaked clips online, and of course they are all edited online. At this moment, everyone is staring at the projection attentively, which is much better than the movie. There's nothing interesting about the Hulk vs. Abomination scene in the video. They've seen too much. When Chen Shi and number 18 suddenly intervened, the style of the painting immediately changed. When they saw Chen Shi yelling with joy and a look of hatred for Steel, they couldn't help but want to laugh. This person really doesn't take it too seriously when it comes to watching the excitement, and fanning the flames of trouble when giving advice to others is simply too arrogant. I don't take Hulk and Abomination seriously at all, but as time goes by, many guys who don't have time to surf the internet find something is wrong. That man is not simple, very different. He was too calm and didn't pay attention to these two monsters at all. He was just watching the two monkeys performing. When the Hulk was led to the suburbs, they were excited. Some agents who didn't know Chen Shi couldn't help but exclaimed, "God, this man is a mutant. Teleportation. No wonder I have to take these two monsters seriously. I'm not afraid of being caught at all." That's right, that's what it's called, being confident, that's right. Alas, the culture of the Dragon Kingdom is just different. Among the mutants, the one who teleports seems to be the Red Devil. I didn't expect there to be someone exactly like him. Have you not noticed that that woman seems to be able to teleport? Yeah, it seems to have disappeared all at once. Everyone was watching the video and commenting on it, just like watching a science fiction movie. As soon as the scene changed, all the parties involved came to the suburbs. At this moment, they were shocked when General Ross ordered the launch of X-Wife missiles to attack the Hulk. Isn't this a bit crazy? This explosion will cause hundreds of millions of losses. When they saw number 18 grabbing his ex-wife's missile and throwing it at the military helicopter, they were all frightened. Fake squid. This is a missile from my ex-wife. Can you catch it and use it as a dart? Strong. It's too strong. This power is a bit strong. Didn't you realize she can fly? Yes, you can fly, you can teleport, you are extremely powerful, don't be Magneto again. Boom. They came to their senses only when the explosion sounded. This was not an illusion. The next second they saw that the hatred was like a toy in the woman's hands, being manipulated casually without any ability to resist. Oh my god, what kind of attack is this? Laser, energy emission, or an unknown super mutant ability? Isn't this attack too powerful? Can our tank withstand this casual attack? Look at her defense. God, is that an energy shield? Armor-piercing bullets and micro-missiles can't break through the defense. They no longer knew how to describe it. Their eyes were filled with shock and fear, and before they knew it, their backs were already wet with sweat. There was a thin layer of sweat on his forehead. There were so many strong men among these mutants. Once they wanted to attack humans, who could stop them? Their hands and feet unconsciously clasped together, and they all looked at each other and saw fear and uneasiness in each other's eyes. When it came to the final Hulk scene, everyone no longer screamed in surprise like before. They were numb, and it was natural for them to knock down the Hulk. The Hulk is not much stronger than the Abomination, and isn't the latter just as likely to have his head blown off at will? The video ends abruptly here. The conference room was eerily quiet. There was no sound except for the faint sound of breathing. You could hear a pin drop. Nick Fury looked at the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and looked very satisfied. He feels that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been a little distracted recently. Just take this opportunity to knock these bloated guys. What do you think will happen if you face them? Nick Fury looked at the group of agents with a dead smile. The latter were speechless. What would happen? The fate of being wiped out by the group. You can still go against the will of heaven. Why is no one talking? Aren't you very capable in normal times? Do you always think that you are an agent of the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency with your tail in the sky? Nick Fury took another chance and struck again, but the agents still listened to the reprimand without saying a word. Yes, ask yourself, what are they? What do they count as? Nick Fury also felt bad because S.H.I.E.L.D. was too weak. A plan was going over and over in his mind, but there were not many qualified candidates. S.H.I.E.L.D. can no longer sink, S.H.I.E.L.D. must rise. Everyone, the purpose of convening this meeting today is to tell you and your subordinates not to provoke that man at the moment. If any of you provoke him without authorization, then the best outcome is to shoot yourself. Don't implicate us. Having said this, Nick Fury looked around at the agents present with one eye and shouted. Did you all hear that clearly? Clear. Speak louder. Haven't you eaten? Nick Fury shouted coldly again. Clear. This time, everyone shouted hysterically at the top of their lungs, as if they wanted to vent their fears. Okay, the meeting is over. It seems that he has established his authority again, and Nick Fury is very satisfied. I didn't just want to show off, but I really needed to delay, and there wasn't much time left for him. Don't let anything happen during this period. Chen Zai's appearance really caught him off guard. Nick Fury returned to the office tiredly alone, threw himself on the boss's chair and lay down. Hey, why am I so tired, guarding against this and that? Do I have delusions of being persecuted? Ha ha ha, sad, poor, what a shame. The empty office echoed with Nick Fury's self-deprecating laughter, which was so weird and a little pitiful. He didn't understand why he had to do this, why he had to guard against Chen Shi, as if he was born with it. I laughed until tears came out and my stomach hurt. If the room wasn't sealed properly, he would really scare others to death, and there would be rumors outside that director Nick Fury is crazy. A dejected Nick Fury slowly opened a safe. This was a top-secret file that required verification with his fingerprints, pupils, and voice before it could be opened. Alas, it seems that this plan has to be implemented in advance. Computers and the like are simply not secure enough. The more intelligent they are, the less secure they are, so all confidential files are on paper. Nick Fury slowly opened the document, and the Avengers plan was printed on his head. If Chen Shi were here, he would know that this plan has been advanced. All because of his existence, many things broke out in advance, and the wings of his butterfly became bigger and bigger. After Nick Fury opened the file, it was filled with records of various superpower crimes, which was simply shocking. However, these records have not been circulated at all, and there is almost no circulation to the outside world. All were suppressed, but it was the mutants who took action. What a great irony. This is how their enemies who defend themselves day and night maintain world peace. Every time he saw this, his heart felt stinging. Why couldn't humans protect themselves? He actually needs the protection of mutants. What a pitiful and arrogant authority. Reading through it slowly, it was written that the candidate for the first Avengers project was Tony Stark. This was sponsored by him, hoping that his super brain and powerful inventive ability would help him. Unexpectedly, he actually created a steel armor. A mortal body can deal with ordinary mutants. Nick Fury believes that Tony can invent a more powerful armor in the future. Nick Fury, the chicken thief, doesn't even want to pay for the Avengers project from his own pocket. He's even more Grandit than Grandit. Asking others to work for him, and asking others to pay for him, it is really terrible for a person to be so cunning. It wouldn't matter if he was from the Dragon Kingdom. The genes for fighting wits and courage for thousands of years are there, but he is a completely black-hearted and black-skinned guy. In addition to Tony, a wealthy part-time inventor, the second candidate is Dr. Banner, the Hulk. It is true that this is a time bomb, but at the same time he is also a super tank and human shield, an all-around player with high attack power. Naturally, he does not want to let go of such a candidate. If Banner knew about it, he would definitely shout, "I'll step on my horse to thank you for the promotion. Let me work for you." The third candidate is the super agent Black Widow Natasha, who provides intelligence work for the entire team and is also indispensable. The fourth candidate is Hawkeye Patton. We have tank warriors, but why don't we have a shooter to do some damage? As for the mage, he didn't know that there was a mage, otherwise he would arrange a mage for them in minutes. This is Nick Fury's plan, the Avengers. A plan is always a plan, it has not become a reality and it is too difficult to implement. But now, no matter what, he has to implement this plan, no matter how slow the progress is. Oh, I hope everything goes well. Don't force me. Nick Fury muttered into the air. After finishing speaking, he took out an old-fashioned BB machine, also called a wireless pager, from the safe in the office. This thing would have been eliminated by now, and no one would be able to use it. Anyone who uses this will definitely get a lot of ridicule, but Nick Fury caressing it gently. In his eyes, this was 100 times more important than his own life. Whenever someone was alone, he would take it out and caress it. This antique pager is his last chance. It can bring him infinite security. When the Earth faces an unsolvable disaster, it is the last hope to save the Earth. Once you press it, an invincible woman will descend on the Earth across the endless starry sky. Then destroy all the enemies. He believed that the invincible woman could do it, no matter if she was the overlord of the universe that Chen Shi said. Chen Shi, I don't care whether you are an alien from the M788 Nebula or a mutant. I hope you won't force me. He regards Chen Shi as his biggest imaginary enemy. Chen Shi is the most powerful and mysterious. Unpredictable. Nick Fury cast his deep gaze out the window and into the sky, as if that woman would return at any time. The Avengers' plan is to save themselves. Pagers are the last light in despair. He hopes that he can keep the secret of the pager forever, but before he dies, he will definitely press it and drag the strongest person with him to hell. He wants to complete the ultimate one-for-one exchange. Only by removing one of the biggest hidden dangers for the Earth can he die with peace of mind. Of course, Chen Shi didn't know everything that happened in S.H.I.E.L.D., and he didn't care about how much of a sensation he had caused in the world. At this moment, he was waiting for the first dinner cooked by Wanda and Number 18 together. However, Number 18 was completely unhelpful and kept adding trouble to Wanda with a smile. "Ah, I'm so annoyed. Get out of here, you woman. Hey, don't go out, don't go out." Wanda screamed unbearably, closed her eyes, and walked directly to the kitchen door to tell Number 18 to get out, but Number 18 was like a normal person, stealing a bite here and grabbing a handful there. "Guy, he can't do anything, he's the best at cooking." Angrily, Wanda twisted her shui knee hard, and then let out a fierce sigh of anger. "It's time to eat, hubby, come here and serve the food." Come on, come on." Half an hour later, Wanda's voice reached the living room, and Chen Shi swooped to the kitchen and started serving food. He had been busy for a long time, and he was afraid of being criticized. The wife works hard to cook, and the husband lies still like an old man, waiting for the food to be served. So why don't you serve durian? Or the kind with extremely sharp thorns? You can't get used to this kind of lazy behavior. My wife is so good at cooking. She can actually cook Chinese food. She is much better than Lolly, a foodie who only knows how to eat. Chen Shi flattered her without leaving any trace, and made Wanda, who had been busy for a long time, feel happy and her anger disappeared. By the way, he glanced at Number 18 with pride. "Zaja, if my husband praises me or not you, is it a woman who can't even do housework?" Yes, Sister Wanda is so powerful, she is just a little maid, she can't be compared, she can't be compared." Number 18 immediately surrendered with a smile. "Compared to this is really incomparable. She is good at fighting." Who is Wanda? Abandoned at birth. After they were adopted by the Maximovs, their life was miserable. After graduating from high school at the age of 16, he and Kuayin began a wandering life. Maximov drank, gambled and stole. Kuayin felt that it was not safe and he would be sold by his adoptive father sooner or later, so he and Wanda began to work as a wandering family until now. The two poor children had no one to shoulder the responsibility for them, so they had to rely on themselves to survive until Wanda met Chen Shi. By the way, isn't Banner hiding in Tony's house? Why did he transform into the Hulk and be chased and intercepted again? Wanda suddenly asked while eating and chatting. Ahem, isn't it Banner? He went to find Betty secretly, and he turned into the Hulk when he got excited. Chen Shi smiled softly and explained. Is that so? Why are you so excited? The person assigned by Ross to protect Betty discovered it. Chen Shi said casually. Oh, that's it, Wanda said softly, no longer doubting. Is this really the case? Chen Shi didn't believe it. The two of them had reunited after a long absence, so it wasn't like a long drought followed by sweet rain. It must be that just when Banner was about to take the final step, Hulk came online directly when he was excited or nervous. Luckily he transformed before entering the door. If he transformed into the Hulk after entering the door, then Betty would have exploded immediately. Chen Shi suddenly made a malicious guess, which felt a bit vulgar. Either Betty is the cucumber girl, or Banner is the green prairie above his head. In Chen's eyes inexplicable smile, the three of them quickly ate this warm dinner, if they didn't grab it on the 18th. Wanda, come out and I'll take you to Tony's house to chat with Pipo. There will be uninvited guests later. After Wanda finished washing the dishes, she heard Chen Shi calling him. She asked in confusion, "What's wrong? Is there a bad person?" "Yes, if someone comes to die, we can only help him. But you also know that this scene is a bit unfriendly, and I don't want to scare you now." Chen Shi shrugged and said with a smile, "I don't care about these clowns at all, but that kind of scene is not suitable for Wanda to watch. Her world should remain pure for now, let the darkness come." "Okay, I listen to you and be safe." Wang Dagan agreed obediently. She knew that staying here would definitely distract Chen Shi. She knew the rules and would not be sloppy. "Okay, let's go." After saying that, he grabbed Wanda and teleported directly to Tony's house. Tony was surprised by Chen Zai's arrival. He hadn't seen Chen Shi for a long time, but he naturally read the news. That powerful woman put great pressure on him. He really didn't understand why such a powerful woman suddenly appeared next to Chen Shi. Is this justified by nature? Have we ever had a good time? One Chen Shi is difficult enough to deal with, how about another one? Shet, why are you here again and bringing your woman with you? Are you causing trouble again? Tony was very depressed. This guy didn't even knock on the door. Otherwise, I would not open the door for him. This guy means that no good thing will come to him. Chen Shi stared at him with a half smile. Has this guy been too busy lately? Does this mean he doesn't welcome me? Well, I have to find something for him to do. Otherwise, I think he doesn't respect me a bit. When Tony was stared at by Chen Shi, a sudden chill came from the bottom of his feet to the sky. I shivered unconsciously. This is a sign. Tony was a little confused, as if he had said the wrong thing. He must be up to something again. Just when Tony was secretly regretting it, Chen Shi suddenly spoke. It's nothing, it's just that some people are here to die. I sent Wanda here and asked Pipo to stay with her. I will leave later. By the way, where is the Banner Man? Let him come out, and I will take him out to witness what a miracle is. After saying that, Chen Shi shouted, Banner, Banner, come out quickly and follow me to my house. This time you will be convinced that you have lost. Thump thump thump. As soon as he finished speaking, Banner came out of the basement. Coming, coming. Banner agreed from afar. When he saw Chen Shi being so calm, the strong premonition came again. Okay, let me check with you, although I am almost certain that I will lose. Banner looked at Chen Shi with some depression and said, Are you making a bet? Betting on whether Ross will come tonight. Tony finally understood. This must be related to Ross. The matter involving Banner must be related to him. With his IQ, he came up with this result instantly. Yes, Tony, your genius brain has not grown in vain. I will lift up your skull and take a look at it sometime, hee hee. As he spoke, Chen Shi glanced around with his eyes, which frightened Tony so much that his eyes and expression changed immediately. He knows that Chen Shi can do anything. He is not a good person who kills people like crazy, and his thoughts are so wild and unconstrained that he can't figure them out at all, just for fun. While Chen Shi was trying to scare Tony, groups of heavily armed guys sneaked up near Chen Zai's villa. Hundreds of special soldiers carrying black boxes have surrounded Chen Zai's villa. Chapter 51. General, everyone is in place, and all the rich people nearby have left, but in order to keep it secret, we did not notify Tony Stark. In the darkness, a faceless, dark guy took out a walkie-talkie and reported the situation to General Ross. Tony Stark, you did the right thing. His relationship with Chen Shi is unclear. Who knows if it will be leaked? General Ross, who was sitting in a command vehicle 1,000 meters away, said sinisterly. Don't worry about him. If you have bad luck, don't blame us, just blame him. After General Ross finished speaking, he immediately hung up the phone and took out his night vision binoculars to observe every move of the army. Stop, everyone, listen to my instructions and take off your shoes. There are 2 masters living here. No movement is allowed before the attack is ordered. Clear, clear. In the darkness, these soldiers immediately took off their military boots and marched barefoot. Everyone held their breath and looked solemn. There may be no coming back this time. They know the 2 masters inside very well. Killing them is like trampling on a nest of ants. Getting closer, getting closer. The speed of their advance was getting slower and slower, and their little hearts were pounding even more, almost to the point of jumping into their throats. They were so nervous that the short distance of 200 to 300 meters seemed like the end of the world and they would never end. The sweat was like rain hitting the body, soaking the whole body, and the big sweat on the forehead kept falling down. Relax, relax, take a deep breath, take a deep breath, don't be nervous, don't be nervous. The low voice of their captain came from the headphones, and the captain kept comforting the team members. They are risking their lives, how can they not be nervous? Not to mention that he was fine. The more he comforted him, the more nervous the team members became. They all lived in a free country, with good food and drink, and girls hanging out all day, not to mention how comfortable they were. They are suddenly asked to perform an almost fatal mission. Who can bear such a bolt from the blue? But isn't it the duty of soldiers to obey orders? They can only bite the bullet and rush forward. Even if they had already written the suicide note, they would probably have to kill half of them this time, right? Even if the masters were attacked, one fatal blow would kill more than half of them. That's right, in their psychology, if Chen Shi and the two of them are attacked by them, they will die. They are holding the latest developed super biochemical weapons neurotoxins in their arms, which is not a good thing. Such toxins are not allowed to be studied at all, but why do they care about such a convention? They are the United States. It's so powerful that they regard the so-called convention as a joke and don't have to abide by it at all. If the production and delivery is successful, the neurotoxin in a box can be put into an elephant and turn it into an idiot. They have hundreds of elephants in their hands. Where can such a small villa go? There is nowhere to escape. Who makes them masters? They are masters of teleportation. As long as they breathe such a high concentration of neurotoxins, you can't even react to knock them down instantly. It's just that their behavior is like running wild in broad daylight, which is obvious to know. 18. There are 300 to 400 more people outside the door, and there are 300 to 400 more different kinds of energy. Can she not feel it? Everyone's anger is different, and number 18 couldn't help but laugh when he saw their cautious and sneaky looks. She quickly called Chen Shi. Dear master, the fish has taken the bait and is preparing to attack us. Please come back. Although she can easily deal with this group of miscellaneous fish, Chen Shi has a bet with Banner and cannot delay it. The fish took the bait. Very good. Chen Shi smiled slightly after hearing this. Everything was going according to plan. Come on, Banner, let's go have some fun. After hanging up the phone, Chen Shi turned to look at Banner, but the latter was a little downcast. Lost. Really lost. He really lost his wife and lost his troops. Not only did he have to endure Hulk's torture, but he also had to listen to other people's orders. Resistance. Don't be ridiculous. Hulk was beaten to death. Is his small body big enough for someone to kick him? Okay, let's go. Banner was crestfallen, with a look of despair on his face. Ha, let's go. Chen Shi laughed loudly, grabbed Banner, and teleported back to the villa. Only Tony stayed where he was, drooling with envy. Teleporting was so cool. In the villa, Chen Shi has returned, still holding Banner in his hand. At this moment, the soldiers outside had reached the courtyard of the villa and squatted down. Everyone, open the safe, take out the psychotoxin bomb launching rifle, and wait for my order. The voice of the action team leader sounded again in the headsets of all the soldiers. The soldiers were moving very fast, and it didn't matter at this time. Now that we are here, half of the task is completed, and everyone feels a little relaxed. Little did they know that their every move was like a clown performing for their own entertainment under the eyes of others, and the audience was just playing tricks on them. Master, do you think they will be too excited if they successfully launch a weapon that they think is particularly awesome? When they are cheering and celebrating, will giving them a big surprise scare them? He. Number 18 saw their performance from the blurry surveillance footage and couldn't help but chuckle. This is not a surprise, this is a shock. Banner was finishing up the damage next to him, and secretly scolded Ross for his behavior, which was just trying to die in a good life. You're looking for death, and you're so annoying to me. Banner said he was very tired. While everyone was talking, the soldiers outside were already taking aim. Listen to my order. Shoot. After giving the order, everyone aimed at the windows on the first, second and third floors and fired directly. Bang bang bang. Time. The glass shattered, and thousands of neurotoxins were dropped into the villa instantly. A dark green smoke instantly filled the entire villa. Okay, well done. Ha ha ha. Great. General Ross looked at the dark green smoke rising from the villa and slapping the table fiercely, with a look of ecstasy on his face and laughing excitedly. Even the folds on the face can trap a fly. Think about how thick it is and how exciting it is. It was unexpected for all of them that the operation went so smoothly. It was a bit surprising. General, isn't it a little too smooth? There's something weird about this. The lights were on in the house and no one went out. It looked very reasonable, but the vigilance of experts like them was too low. His deputy, a senior colonel-level guy, analyzed the causes and consequences of this matter with a solemn face, and always felt that something was wrong. But Rose was in high spirits at this time, waved his hand and said nonchalantly, "You are right, but think about it, they are experts, but they are all young people. Young people, in the words of Longuo, they have nothing to say and nothing to do. They never thought that we would raid them. We have no enmity with him. Would you be wary of a stranger?" General Ross made an analysis, which was quite reasonable and well-founded, and immediately dispelled his deputy's doubts. Is this really the case? It's too natural. Suddenly, a joking voice accompanied by a burst of applause sounded in this small space. Ha ha ha, General Ross is right. People are scared to death, and this is the situation now. Chen Zai's sudden appearance scared Rose to the point where he almost choked to death. The proud laughter stopped suddenly, and his expression suddenly changed. He looked at Chen Shi, who was smiling in horror, with an expression of disbelief. Aren't you in the villa? Are you okay? He pointed at Chen Shi and yelled with wide eyes, obviously scared to death. Me, you think I don't know your thoughts? Chen Shi sat down slowly, just like at home. Why? Rose's voice was low, but he still refused to give up. He didn't know what he was thinking. Why did Chen Shi know about it? This plan was not leaked. Want to know? Chen Shi smiled teasingly. Ross nodded slightly and uttered one word, think. Well, it doesn't matter if I tell you. Everyone and everything in this world can't be hidden from me. I know all your thoughts and thoughts. I know everything and can do everything. At this moment, Chen Zai's expression was serious, and General Ross almost believed what he said. Ha ha, do you think I believe it? General Ross asked with a smile. TCH, believe it or not. But you won't have the chance to believe it again. Chen Shi said nonchalantly. Such an attitude and tone frightened General Ross. You want to kill me. At this time, his tone became a little panicked and stuttered. He never expected that Chen Shi was going to kill him. Yeah, you won't be alone on the road to hell. No, this is the road to hell. I hope you like it. Chen Zai's smile was cloudy and breezy, and it didn't look like he meant to kill someone. It's just that such light words are full of Sennin's murderous intent. At some point, his back had become wet, and the air was as cold as the cold wind in the 12th lunar month. Ross roared in his heart, how dare he? How dare he? He is the only one who judges the fate of others. How can others judge his fate and decide his life or death? In the end, he still said stubbornly, kill me. There will be no place for you in America. You are provoking the authority of the entire United States. America, I didn't kill you. Who can cause trouble for me? Who saw you being killed by me? Chen Shi looked at the old guy with disdain, and then pointed a finger. The adjutant and driver beside Ross instantly turned into statues in his horrified eyes. Then, bang, it exploded into a pile of ice slag, as if it didn't exist, and was all frozen into powder. Ross was shocked. If this horse rider was killed, there would be no case to be filed. Let's go, General Ross, let's see how your men go to meet the Hell Lord Mephisto. After Chen Shi finished speaking, he didn't even wait for him to resist, and carried Ross, who was as frightened as a quail, back to the door of the villa like a little chicken. At this moment, the situation outside the villa was extremely brutal, a one-sided massacre, and of course the protagonist was none other than the Hulk. Back to 5 minutes ago, Chen Shi took Banner and number 18 outside to take shelter before these nerve toxin bombs entered the villa. He went to find General Ross, while Banner and number 18 stood outside watching the soldiers from a distance. Sure enough, the soldiers put on gas masks and rushed into the villa with microflush. But before they could take action, everyone seemed to have hit an invisible wall and immediately fell over, unable to move even an inch. Fake. What the hell is going on? No, no, which woman's protective shield it is? Ah, that's right, they must be fine. The neurotoxin is definitely useless, it's over. It's over. God, I don't want to die yet. The soldiers thought of something at this moment. They had seen how incomprehensible No 18's protective shield was. But there are many people who don't believe in evil and don't want to die. They pick up the micro-punch like crazy and rush towards the protective shield. However, these bullets only made a crisp sound when they hit the protective cover, and some unlucky ones were killed by bullets that bounced from nowhere. For a time, screams and screams of crying for father and mother came one after another. They were already in despair. This is their final destination, and their lives will end here. Unless you can fly, you may still have a chance of survival, but if you can fly, you will still be a useless soldier. Gloom and gloom are not enough to describe their mood at this moment, only despair that is so intense that it cannot be resolved. Number 18 had a cold look on his face and looked at these soldiers as if they were dead. Those who kill will always be killed. Banner, I leave it to you. Killing is no stranger to you, right? Number 18 turned to look at Banner and said lightly. Who would have thought that Banner's head was shaking like a rattle, and rejection was written all over his body. You don't want to go. It's not up to you. Number 18 snorted coldly, what a coward. You, what do you want to do? Banner was so frightened that he hurriedly backed up several steps, his expression was nervous, and he broke out in a cold sweat. What do I want to do? I'll give you a ride. Number 18 smiled strangely, and then picked up Banner. Let's go. Enjoy it. Ha ha ha. Chirp. Okay, here's the soundtrack. But just the same, Banner was thrown straight into the crowd by number 18 like a sandbag. Wow, help, help. Banner was so frightened that he yelled and panicked. Huh, what kind of operation is this? The trapped soldiers were confused for a while. Was there internal strife? However, before they could think about it, under threat of life, Hulk instantly came online to take over the body. Roar, the Hulk returns. The Hulk roared and started the killing feast directly. He didn't care who you were. It was a burst of madness. It's so easy to tear apart white devils with your hands. Bullets, sorry, scratching is not enough. Mental toxin, directly immune, even killed myself. So when Chen Shi brought Ross here, he saw a scene of hell on earth. Chen Shi was speechless. It must be number 18 who acted like a monster. The green fat man had to come out to disrupt the situation and make it so bloody. Ahem, how's it going? General Ross, you are not alone on this road to hell, right? There are so many soldiers accompanying you to hell. Ross thought about the consequences, but he was still frightened by the massacre in front of him. This was all his sin. No, no, no. Please, let them go. They are just following my orders. They are not guilty. I alone bear all the blame. At this moment, when a person is about to die, his words are also good. Ross knew that Chen Shi was determined to kill him. If he could save these soldiers, it would be a little redemption for him. General Ross, do you think it's possible? If I were an ordinary person or had little ability, would they let me go? They were here to kill me. If you cut the weeds without removing the roots, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. With such a delay, Hulk had killed the last person within 2 minutes. Okay, General Ross, it's finally time to send you on your way. If you meet Mephisto, tell me I killed you. P.S. I think many people have seen this. Can you give me a small gift today? Ahem, I asked shamelessly and only received a few dollars. Also, some people find me unhappy and being reported makes me really tired and I keep changing things. Chen Shi sentenced him to death, and death is coming. The faint voice reached General Ross's ears very clearly under the silent starry sky. Ha ha, I didn't expect that I would die so aggrievedly. I really shouldn't have provoked such a ruthless person like you. Are you really not afraid? Even if I die, you can't escape the justice of the law. Maybe I just take the first step. Ha ha ha, I'm waiting for you below. Even if you survive, you'll be hiding here and there like a rat in the sewer, never seeing the sun all day long. Come on, don't talk about that kind of death, I haven't experienced it yet. Ross seemed to be really good at talking. Before he died, he wanted to give Chen Shi some eye drops. Chen Shi could also hear his deep regret. Since General Ross wants to give it a try, then I will grant your last wish. If someone has this idea, it can be regarded as his last words. Chen Shi should just be a good person for once. But the bloody scenes will always be the bloody scenes. There was always a scene of being saved by the knife, and Chen Shi even wondered if Nick Fury had come secretly. That bullshit Nick Fury was lying in wait, and only jumped out when the situation was at its worst to maximize his benefits. No, just as Chen Shi was about to take action, a loudspeaker sounded loudly in the distance, and a high-beam headlight also came on. Nick Fury shouted with a loudspeaker, "Mr. Chen Shi, please show mercy. Can you let General Ross go?" After finishing speaking, he patted the front of the car and said, "Coulson will drive over." Buzz, buzz, buzz. The modified super bulletproof car roared away immediately. This was Nick Fury's car. As a guy who is extremely afraid of death, his car is quite impressive. In the movie, when he was attacked by Hydra, this big guy saved his life. When the performance monster flicked to a stop, Nick Fury got out of the car with a trembling Coulson. Chen Shi watched Nick Fury walking slowly with calm eyes. This is Marvel's famous man, the black-hearted and black-braced Nick Fury. Being famous is not as good as meeting each other. What a shame. If it weren't for the bright moonlight and the good street lights, he really wouldn't have been able to spot this dark-faced guy. Nick Fury quickly stretched out his hand and said very politely, "It's better to be famous than to meet him. Mr. Chen Shi is much younger and more handsome than in the photo." Chen Shi reached out and shook his hand. He wanted to see what tricks Nick Fury could do. He was very upset when someone interrupted him. "You're welcome. This is the first time I've met director Nick Fury. He is indeed different from ordinary people. He is like a firefly in the dark night. Lolly, do you think it's all reflecting light?" As he spoke, he quietly winked at Lolly, who immediately agreed with her understanding. "Yes, the brightness is really shining." Haha, thank you for the compliment." Nick Fury acted as if he didn't understand. If he wasn't thick-skinned enough, he wouldn't be able to unite the Avengers. "I wonder what Nick Fury is doing." Chen Shi knew the truth and asked, but a show of force was enough. "I came here this time to ask Mr. Chen Shi to let General Ross go. After all, he is a general in the military. It would be a very serious crime to kill a powerful military boss privately. I also hope that Mr. Chen Shi can consider whether it is worth it." Nick Fury spoke sincerely and seemed to be thinking about Chen Shi, but in fact no one was stupid. He is a jackal and a leopard who wants to be the final winner. The words are better spoken than the songs, and there is a faint reminder at the end, which actually means there is a hint of threat. If you want to move General Ross, you have to consider the serious consequences of going against the United States. This is a soft nail, and his words and deeds are flawless. Chen Shi seemed to be moved by him and actually fell silent. They all thought they had succeeded. Even Rose showed a grateful smile to Nick Fury, who also smiled slightly. Rose's favor was obtained. This is a life-saving grace, a great kindness. Ross showed an expression of relief after the disaster. At this time, Chen Shi spoke. "What Nick Fury said makes perfect sense. I have no reason not to accept such advice." Before Chen Shi could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Nick Fury. Then Mr. Chen Shi promised to let General Ross go. Nick Fury couldn't wait to ask. General Ross's lowered eyes flashed with a hint of cruelty. He lost this time. If he has a chance in the future, he will make a comeback and kill him. Unexpectedly, Chen Shi suddenly waved his hand. "Who says I want to accept it? I reject them all." They didn't expect that Chen Zai's reversal would directly break their waists. The turn was a bit big. It was also a bit sudden. Nick Fury quickly said, "Why? Doesn't Mr. Chen Shi feel that doing this is particularly unworthy? Is it worth it?" "Director Nick Fury, what are you talking about? I didn't want to do anything." Chen Shi looked at Nick Fury in confusion. "What did I do? I didn't do anything." Nick Fury and the others were confused by Chen Shi. "You would kill him sometimes and not kill him sometimes." That, Nick Fury wanted to confirm again. "I don't want to do anything." Chen Shi shrugged. Nick Fury and others breathed a sigh of relief. That's good, that's good. Sudden, a wave of cold air is coming. Nick Fury turned around and immediately exclaimed in fright, "No. Don't. Why? Why?" Under their horrified gazes, General Ross did not react, and without holding on for a second, he turned into a humanoid ice sculpture. Then, there is no more. He was trampled to pieces by the Hulk. Maybe Hulk just remembers that Ross, the bad guy, has been trying to catch him, and he can finally take revenge. Chen Shi was speechless. The fat green guy did a great job. Nick Fury, you have seen it. Ross was stepped on by the Hulk and had nothing to do with me. Chen Shi pushed 4, 5, 6, and it was all clean. Nick Fury is furious. This guy's face was already dark, but now it's better. Chen Shi is so angry that it's even darker. Of course, no matter how dark it gets, how dark can it be? He could no longer care about giving in and shouted loudly, "Why can't you let him go? Why do you have to kill him? Are our laws dispensable in your eyes? Are you allowed to trample on them as you please? Fake. Not to mention how bad Nick Fury's mood is at this moment, terrorists like Chen Shi must be eradicated as soon as possible. His heart was roaring, kill him. Must kill him. Director Nick Fury, are you doing something wrong? I didn't kill Ross, it was the Hulk who did it. You don't care about the real murderer. If you kill him, why are you killing me? Chen Shi seemed to have been greatly wronged and yelled at Nick Fury. He was going to complain. Go complain. Nick Fury was completely dumbfounded. He was frightened by such a strange brain circuit. He stared at Chen Shi in shock and stammered. You actually want to accuse me? Nick Fury really couldn't describe in words the mental blow he received at this moment. It had deeply hurt his already black heart. He never imagined that there would be such shameless people in this world. It was simply thicker than his face. He thought he was already thick enough, but he didn't expect it. This mountain is higher than the other, and the strongest has its own master. Seeing the shocked look on Nick Fury's face, Chen Shi smiled proudly. Are you being a rogue? Who wouldn't? I'm not a murderer, what can you do to me? I didn't kill the soldiers, I didn't kill the commander, and I didn't kill the mastermind. Naturally, all the blame is carried by the Hulk. He has become an X-level wanted person for killing people, and he has not lost a few lives. So he responded directly to Nick Fury's rhetorical question. It wasn't my intention in the first place. You showed murderous intent towards me, but it's your fault. By the way, I will ask my lawyer to sue you in a few days. Regardless of the safety of a legitimate taxpayer, you make unreasonable accusations and threaten his personal safety. And you have to compensate me for mental damages, lost time from work, nutritional expenses, etc. I also want to sue the military. They recklessly attacked legitimate taxpayers, causing an irreversible situation. Chen Shi chattered a lot. Anyway, he felt uncomfortable everywhere and had to pay for it. Humph. After hearing these shameless remarks, Nick Fury was so angry that one Buddha was born and 2 Buddhas ascended to heaven, and he almost exploded. He snorted coldly, waved his sleeves, turned around and left angrily. But just when he walked to the super bulletproof vehicle, a reminder came to him that scared him to pieces. Haha, Mr. Nick Fury, please don't be anxious, don't be angry, and please protect your intergalactic pager. I really don't want you to get so excited that you can't help but want to kill me, so I'll use this thing. Comrade Carol can't protect you. She's just your last trump card. You really have to use it at the critical moment. Rumble. Chen Zai's calm voice was like a bolt from the blue, striking deep in Nick's mind. In an instant, the sky collapsed and the earth collapsed, the seawater capsized, and his inner defenses completely collapsed and disappeared. It seemed that the moving body did not receive feedback from the brain at all, and it hit the front of the car hard without obeying the instructions. This collision didn't seem to wake Nick Fury up at all. He was still looking at the nothingness in front of him with frightened eyes, and his heart was roaring. How is it possible? How is it possible? How does he know that I have Carol's trump card? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. No one knows that Carol is my last resort. This person can read minds. No, I didn't think about Carol just now. How did he know? No. How can such a terrifying existence exist in this world? Nick Fury was brainstorming like crazy, and he thought of a lot in just a few seconds. A lot. The calm look that he used to have without changing his expression even when the mountain collapsed was long gone. Even the aliens back then were not as frightened as Chen Shi. The pitch-black face also became slightly pale, and not even a trace of blood could be seen. Cold sweat had already soaked through his shirt, and there was a dense layer of sweat beads all over his bald head. Nick Fury suddenly turned around and stared at Chen Shi with one eye. How do you know Carol exists? How do you know about that intergalactic radio pager? Who are you? Only I know this secret, no one else knows any clues. No, you still have the mutant ability to read minds, right? His voice was as low as a roar, as if everything was squeezed out of his throat. Coulson has never seen Nick Fury in this state before. He is nervous, frightened, terrified, desperate, and hysterical. Is this still their black-hearted director who is as steady as an old dog? He was confused and couldn't understand. What else is Carol? What intergalactic radio pager? He was daydreaming, but Chen Shi turned a blind eye to Nick Fury's morbid and crazy attitude. Chen Shi spoke slowly. Comrade Nick, don't talk about Carol or wireless pagers or anything like that. It's you. I know exactly when you're going to die. Do you know that? What? My death? Nick Fury was immediately frightened and screamed. Haha, don't interrupt me. Chen Shi paused and looked at him with a smile. There is nothing in this world or this universe that I don't know or understand, and I don't know how to read minds. But I know everything and am omnipotent. The past and future of all of you are under my control. At this moment, in the eyes of Nick Fury, Chen Shi is extremely arrogant, and the suspicion of bragging is too great. But I really can't seem to find a reason to refute him. He's pretending to do it again. Just when the two fell into silence, Chen Shi spoke again. Free news for both of you. First, your superhero comrade Steve Rogers is still alive in this world, and you will meet him soon. Second, Comrade Phil Coulson, congratulations, you will say goodbye to this world in an alien world in a few years. Don't worry, you won't die, but you will be resurrected later. Haha, don't be surprised, people can be resurrected even after death. What? The two of them shouted at the same time when they heard the two news. They feel that they must be dreaming. This is a dream. This must be a dream. Otherwise, what if they would hear such auditory hallucinations? You mean Captain America Steve Rogers is not dead? How is it possible? He died heroically on the eve of victory. Nick Fury was scared again and said it was not a dream. Hiss. It hurts. Nick Fury pinched his arm hard. It hurt. It was not a dream. On the other side, Coulson has long believed that this was not a dream. Will he die? It really scared him, and he almost peed, but then he let out a long sigh of relief when he heard that he could come back from the dead. Thank God, I don't have to die. After all, no one wants to die. Not even ants. Of course, the biggest surprise for him is that his idol Steve Rogers is not dead. This is the best news he has heard in decades of living. If there weren't so many people, he would have howled long ago. Chen Shi naturally lured Nick Fury into taking the bait. He has to do this deal whether he wants to or not, it's not up to him. The news has been released. Can Coulson, a superfan of Team USA, keep it a secret? Chen Shi was very satisfied with Nick Fury's gaffe again. The crushing of this latitude and the psychological sense of superiority are particularly easy to make people feel happy. As a time-traveling person, isn't it because of such foresight that he has prospered? The golden finger he brings is that he knows the direction of the plot by heart. Okay, believe it or not, but soon you will meet America's first national idol, the superhero Steve Rogers. Oh, by the way, I will inform you when the time comes, but you have to bring a meeting gift. As for what it is, you will know. Chen Shi said casually, then waved his hand and sent him away. The goal has been achieved. Do you still want to keep him for midnight snacks? Well, with a slumped sigh, Nick Fury staggered open the car door and got in. He looked confused and didn't know whether to be happy or worried. Captain America Steve Rogers is still alive. He believed the news told by Chen Shi, so happy. But Chen Shi knows too much. He even knows the only secret and the last trump card, Carol, so he should be worried. Nick Fury was left looking sad in the back seat, while Coulson, who was driving in the front, was extremely excited. He didn't know anything about Carol or an infinite pager. He only knows that his idol, the American Captain Steve Rogers who makes him crazy, is coming back. Before driving a few kilometers, Nick Fury's deep voice suddenly came from the back seat. Coulson, just pretend you don't know what happened tonight. We don't know anything and we didn't do anything. Squeak. Coulson was so frightened that he braked suddenly. The tire braked until bursts of white smoke came out, and it braked to death. Yes, I understand. Coulson only hesitated for less than 2 seconds before he reacted and started again. This time he did not ask why. After watching Nick Fury leave, Chen Shi turned to look at the villa that was no longer livable, shook his head and sighed. Let's go to Tony's place and spend the night together. Okay, that's all. The green fat man also returned to normal early. As long as no one stimulated him, he would soon go offline and Banner would take over his body. System, let's start, extract first. It's still a long way from here to Tony's house, so I'll take my time to sort out everything. Ding, the plot character Nick Fury has been detected. Do you want to extract his abilities and items? This extraction requires 200,000 points. Well, let's extract it. Ding, extraction is in progress, host please wait. Ding, the extraction is complete. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the unlimited formula for the elixir. Sure enough, Chen Shi was overjoyed. For Nick Fury, this thing is his treasure. The system really doesn't care about other things. The Infinity Formula can significantly reduce the aging rate of humans. The Winter Soldier was injected with this potion, and Nick Fury was also injected with this potion. So although they don't sleep for a long time like Captain America, they can still maintain their peak condition. Unfortunately, the Infinite Formula also has side effects. It must be continuously injected. Once it stops, the body will age rapidly, but this is not a problem. But you can study slowly. In such a world full of infinite possibilities, nothing is impossible. Looking at the infinite formulas in the system space, Chen Shi smiled slightly. It would not be a loss to cheat a wave of black braised eggs. System, can the plot rewards be settled? Chen Shi rubbed his hands, his eyes full of anticipation. This wave might give him a lot of points. Ding, settlement has begun, host please wait. The system is very powerful and settlement started immediately. Ding, congratulations to the host for ruining all the plots of the Hulk and taking them on an unknown track. The host will be rewarded with 5 million points. Ding, congratulations to the host for changing Rose's fate and delaying the birth of the Red Giant indefinitely. Reward 1 million points. Ding, congratulations to the host for ending the plot of the Incredible Hulk, and the host will be rewarded with a Terminator Texas bodyguard. 6 million. 6 million. This is a wave of obesity. Hulk is indeed an important character in Marvel. Changing his destiny will make him a small fortune immediately, which is extremely nice. It's just that he never imagined that Ross's life is quite valuable. He got $1 million. Delightful. Whistling and walking cheerfully, one could tell that Chen Shi was in a very good mood. Number 18 looked at him curiously. Master, you are not so happy, are you? Didn't you just trick Nick Fury? Hey, you don't understand. This is a secret, Chen Shi replied mysteriously with a smile on his face. TCH, I don't want to know yet. Number 18 turned his head arrogantly. If you don't tell me, I won't want to talk to you. Soon several people came to Tony's house and the door opened automatically. Welcome Mr. Chen Shi. Hey, thanks, Jarvis. Chen Shi knew how awesome Jarvis was, just look at Ultron. He also wanted such an assistant, but it was too soon. You're welcome, Mr. Chen Shi. This guy is quite smart, but it's a pity that he's only half smart. How about comparing him with the Red Queen in a few days? At this time, Tony also stood up. They watched the whole process through satellite. I have to say that he admired Chen Shi. Although I don't know what they said, Nick Fury was laughing, crying, and frowning. He was a master of face changing. This is all due to Chen Shi. So Tony admires him for being able to make the black-skinned and black-hearted Nick Fury look awesome. Tony stood up, grinned widely, gave Chen Shi a hug, and patted his shoulder vigorously. Brother. Restrain it, restrain it. Hee. Scratch Rui. Chen Shi quickly grabbed this guy. What the hell, Tony chuckled before letting go of Chen Shi. Okay, Tony, I can only stay here for a few days. The house is full of neurotoxins. It will probably take a few weeks to evaporate. No problem, there are many rooms, you can take your pick. Such a big villa naturally has a lot of rooms. After Tony finished speaking, he asked curiously, Chen Shi, how did you make Nick Fury change his face? It's so interesting. Want to know? Chen Shi asked mysteriously. Of course. Tony blurted out. Okay, then I'll tell you. It's like this. I told him that the Hulk was the one who killed people and it has nothing to do with me. I still want to sue him and the military. Tony really listened to Chen Zai's serious nonsense. That's it. Well done. After hearing this, Tony sighed with emotion and gave Chen Shi a thumbs up. Okay, I've heard everything. It's getting late. It's time for us to rest. By the way, which room has the bigger bed? Chen Shi patted the sofa, stretched, and was ready to rest. Turn left on the second floor and take the third room. Okay, good night. Chen Shi said hello casually, then walked upstairs with Wanda and number 18 in his arms. Tisk, 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 I'm envious, this is a role model for our generation. Tony looked at Chen Zai's back with envy and admiration. When did he become so awesome? According to the room Tony said, Chen Shi and the others quickly entered the room. As expected, the bed was quite spacious as Tony said. Wait a minute, let me check to see if there are any monitors, hidden cameras or anything like that. This guy Tony has installed smart appliances everywhere in his house. Who knows if he even installed them in the bedroom. Chen Zai's mental strength was very strong and he began to scan every inch of the floor, walls and bathroom, not missing an inch. Okay, it's okay. After a while, Chen Shi finished his inspection. Fortunately, Tony is not so perverted as to install any surveillance equipment in his room, but he still needs to be on guard against others. They took a shower and went to bed early. After spending the whole night either killing people or watching fat green men killing people, they were already tired. A night of silence. He got up at 8 or 9 o'clock the next morning and made an appointment to sign the contract today. The governor of New York has helped Chen Shi contact a large bankrupt group, which is mainly engaged in research and development of biology and new energy. This is more in line with Chen Zai's requirements. At least Umbrella's main focus is biotechnology. At that time, we can borrow ready-made equipment and produce some emasculated versions of gadgets just to hide their eyes from others. Chen Shi took a lawyer and an accountant from his stock trading team and went directly to the city government building. There are so many clauses in the contract. He can't tell if there are any traps or tricks. Don't be fooled when the time comes. Although the city government takes the lead, the chance of such an illegal trap is zero, but as the saying goes, it is still necessary to be on guard against others. Find professional people to do professional things, so that you can make fewer mistakes and take fewer detours. Hello, Mr. Chen Shi, I am Phil Charles, the chairman of Life Pioneer Biotech. I will fully represent you in negotiating the acquisition of our company. The person who spoke was an old white man with gray hair. He was not in good spirits. It was estimated that all the efforts to support him would be of no avail. In the end, he went bankrupt and liquidated. In the past few days, he was disturbed by debt collectors and couldn't sleep all day long. No one was willing to take over them at this time. The supplier kept urging him to sell the land quickly. Hello, Mr. Charles, our finance and lawyer have done their homework in advance and know your company quite well. At present, your company has sold off everything except land, buildings, and equipment, including patents and products. So the price we gave is $3 billion US. Chen Shi said lightly that this price was not something he said casually. The professional accounting firm they found gave them the most cost-effective and highest price. Anyway, to put it bluntly, it is only worth so much. This is the estimated price after bankruptcy and liquidation. If you can sell it, if not, find another one. When the old man heard this, he felt very uncomfortable. He had worked hard all his life to earn only such a small amount of money. Can I add more? This is a bit different from my psychological price. The old man thought for a while before saying this. Isn't it necessary to bargain? Businessmen can do it. After hearing his words, Chen Shi looked at him calmly and said calmly. Sorry, our professionals only give this price assessment. You can seriously consider it. Mr. Charles, I'm not exaggerating. Every company in the United States is walking on thin ice right now and is on the verge of bankruptcy. If you don't pay attention, someone will jump off the building tomorrow. This price, to be honest, is very fair. My time is precious. If it doesn't work, we will find another one. Chen Shi spoke mercilessly and to the point, and of course gave him an ultimatum. Well, Old man Charles sighed deeply. I promised. He was at the end of his rope, and now only the young man in front of him was willing to take over, and there was no other way. If he doesn't agree, then tomorrow's news will be that the chairman of a certain company jumped off the building again. Haha, very good, you made the right choice. At this time, Governor Victor asked the secretary to take out 2 contracts. The land transfer contract drafted by the city government was presented to both parties for review and signature. As long as they were signed, it would take effect. After Chen Shi asked the lawyer he brought to check it carefully twice and found no loopholes, he signed his name. It's a pleasure to work with you, Mr. Charles. Thank you, Mr. Chen Shi. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Otherwise, I would really jump off the building, alas. The old man held Chen Zai's hand and patted it hard. This was life-saving money. Chen Shi saved him in disguise. He was very grateful. Haha, you're welcome. This is just a transaction. No one owes anyone anything. Don't be polite, Mr. Charles. Chen Shi said with a smile. The contract was signed, the land was purchased, and everything went smoothly. Umbrella's company has been registered a long time ago, and they are just waiting for Chen Shi to arrange the location of the company. While drinking coffee and chatting, the accountant had already transferred all the money to the other party's company account. The only thing left is for Chen Shi to take over the land. Of course, the sooner the better. Chen Shi couldn't wait to meet the Red Queen. Mr. Charles, can you take me to see it? What an honor. After the transaction was completed, Charles also showed a smile, obviously feeling much more relaxed, and the big stone that weighed on his heart was gone. Governor Victor, let's go first. Of course, a small gift has been transferred to your wife's account. Haha, thank you Mr. Chen Shi. If you have any questions in the future, please come to me. I will do my best. When Victor heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. He didn't think it would benefit him. After all, this was already a great achievement. Who would have thought that Chen Shi would be so polite and have an extra little gift from him? Easy to say, then let's go first. Goodbye. Goodbye. Chen Shi and Charles walked out of the city hall and headed straight for Umbrella, which will cover the world in the future, and even the entire universe. Umbrella has set sail. Not long after Chen Shi left, Victor, who was humming a tune and reading the newspaper, received a call from his wife. Hey, dear, I suddenly received a text message from the bank. Someone actually wired me $1 million. Have you done something particularly risky this time? I don't want you to continue doing this, it's too dangerous. Before he could speak, his wife started talking to him in a loud voice. $1 million, oh my God, such a big deal. Victor was also shocked. Yeah, it's too dangerous, Victor, stop it, we have enough money. His wife is very anxious. If the profit is big, the risk is big. They have enough money to spend and it would be great if they can live a stable life. Calm down, calm down. Dear, why are you so anxious? This matter is not dangerous at all. I helped a rich man buy a bankrupt company, and he insisted on giving me a small gift for taking the lead. Are you sure? Of course. How else can I lie to you? Victor's determined tone finally made his wife feel at ease and stopped asking any more questions. On the other side, Chen Shi also arrived at Umbrella's new address under the leadership of Charles. Located in Manhattan, it's quite convenient. After sending everyone away, Chen Shi quietly came to the Underground Research Institute. System, extract the hive base. Ding, as the host wishes. As soon as the system finished speaking, a model of the hive base automatically flew out of Chen Shi and landed on the ground. Buzz. Under Chen Zai's expectation and curious eyes, it slowly grew bigger and became clearer. A minute later, the model was as big as an ordinary 2-bedroom apartment, and then the excavator mode was turned on in Chen Zai's surprised eyes. What kind of operation is this? Why can't I understand it? Chen Shi was stunned. The good guy dug a big hole and buried himself in it. What, are you digging a hole to bury yourself and committing suicide? Of course, this is impossible. The small base that completely disappeared from the ground had gone deep into the ground. Chen Shi opened its only door and walked in. He wanted to see what the hell it was. He was dumbfounded when he just pushed the door open. Welcome Master, the Great Lord Umbrella. This voice is familiar to Chen Shi, but what is unfamiliar is this world. Everything in front of him was too science fiction for him. What kind of space technology is this? One flower, one world. Mustard seed Nazumi. Space compression. It's only about 100 square meters outside, but when you push the door open, you'll find another vast super base. Chen Shi didn't understand and quickly asked the system. System, what technology is this? Space capsule. Host, it's quite troublesome to explain to you anyway. It's just a space compression technology. In layman's terms, it's like a space storage ring that you can understand, but the system opens the door on this enlarged version of the ring. After saying this, Chen Shi understood the super space ring that allows people to enter and exit freely. After knowing the general idea, he exited the system and looked at the humanoid projection of the little loli who was speaking. Red Queen. Yes, I am the artificial intelligence Red Queen, and I have met the great Lord Umbrella. The little loli projection said sweetly. This image in red clothes lives up to its name. There is something about this artificial intelligence. He is a super ruthless character in the movie, but here. System. Host, please rest assured. The Red Queen here is naturally controlled by the system after being purged. The core instructions entered are to obey the host's orders and never betray. That's good. Chen Shi breathed a sigh of relief. No matter which movie, artificial intelligence or robot betrayal or everywhere, they have their own thinking. Once they can think, they have emotions. If such a cold and absolutely calm guy had emotions, it would be a devastating disaster. He looked at the Red Queen again and asked, Red Queen, do you have all the information on Umbrella here? Master, all the information of Umbrella Company is recorded in the supercomputer by the Red Queen. Please rest assured, Master. As long as the Master needs it, I can immediately arrange to clone researchers for work. Of course, the ingredients for the culture medium of the clones need to be provided by the Master. Hearing the words of the Red Queen, Chen Shi felt relieved. As long as he had the information, it would be easy to talk about. As for the culture medium, any problem that could be solved with money was not a problem. He said to the Red Queen, well, in this way, you first connect to the network of this world, and then enter my mobile phone. Okay, Master, wait a moment. The Red Queen then disappeared directly, apparently having begun to connect to this world's network and capture information. Time passed bit by bit, and Chen Shi began to wander around the base. There was no one there, and the whole world was silver white. The huge space was a bit crowded, and the silence was so terrifying that even my own breathing was clearly audible, except for the feeling of deathly silence. He didn't like this depressing environment at all. Fortunately, the Red Queen scared him at this time and made him wake up immediately. You can imagine that in a dead space, a little red girl floating around with her feet off the ground suddenly appears in front of you. Can you not be scared to death? Red Queen, you scared me. Can you say something? Chen Zai's face turned pale with fright, and his mother's legs were broken. There are few people in the Long Kingdom who are not afraid of ghosts and zombies. There are too many ghost movies, and Uncle Ying is one of his era. Squeak. Well, the Red Queen actually squeaked. Chen Shi covered his head. Queen Hong, you are a bit skinny. Go, let's play with eggs. Chen Shi rolled his eyes and asked, how is it? The entire network is connected now. Have you found anything different? Yes. The Red Queen tilted her head and thought about it. There were so many things that she didn't know where to start. Well, I see that this world is much more powerful than ours. It's just the Earth. From the data collected from various places, it seems that there are many strong people. There are still many places in this world that are unreasonable, but they exist in this world and are even more unreasonable than our world. The Red Queen didn't know that her world was just a movie world. She thought it was a legendary parallel world. She suddenly remembered something again and looked excited. Hee, Master, I found a person of the same kind, well, not completely, right, half of the same kind. That guy hasn't taken that step yet. He can only be half an artificial intelligence. He's just trying to compete with me. I've locked him up in a dark room now. I'll let him out when he becomes more honest. The Red Queen happily shared it with Chen Shi as if she had gotten a new toy. Suddenly, Chen Shi wanted to laugh. It couldn't be such a coincidence, right? He seems to know that only Jarvis is semi-intelligent, and he has never heard of other semi-intelligent people. Could it be? Red Queen, What's the name of the unlucky guy you caught? Jarvis. Poof. Haha, it's indeed this guy, but it's probably the other guy who's more anxious. It's so interesting. Chen Shi burst out laughing. Ever since he came to this world, the most unlucky person was Ross. The second was Black Braised Egg, and the third was Tony. These three people can directly form a victim alliance. Haha, the Red Queen doesn't have my order. Don't let Jarvis out yet. Wait for my order. Okay, Master Lord, it's really boring to bully a semi-intelligent person. The price will be very low. The Red Queen raised her head arrogantly, with a look of loneliness and defeat on her face. Is this also genetic? Is pretense also hereditary? Just like the boss, there will be the same kind of younger brother. Shaking his head hard, Chen Shi shook off this thought. I'm not pretending. Ahem, Red Queen, first create a subroutine and enter it into my mobile phone, then I will go out first. Okay, Master. This is too simple for the Red Queen, as long as there is a network, she is everywhere. Leaving here and going outside, it is now a mess, all of which is the soil dug out by the Honeycomb Foundation. Chen Shi froze the soil into larger frozen soil and controlled the frozen soil to slowly fly out. Clean it up a little, and then take out the Terminator TX from the system space. She is lifeless, so she can naturally be placed in the system space. TX, you are responsible for guarding the security here. No one is allowed to come in or out at this time, and any intruders will be killed without mercy. TX is the most powerful Terminator model and combines all the features of intelligent mechanical metal alloys and liquid metal. The most terrifying thing is of course that Texas can be transformed into any advanced and complex weapon, and it is extremely lethal. With her protection, Chen Shi believed that ordinary level 3 mutants were no match for her, unless they were special ones. Besides, who would come to this bankrupt company for nothing? To steal something? Well, this is possible. When he walked out of here, it was almost noon and he was already hungry. He needs a lot of energy now, and he is still unable to absorb all kinds of energy to maintain his body functions. Driving to Chinatown, he was ready to find some delicious food. Now he was not just pursuing filling his stomach. He also has to eat unique food. He has evolved. As for why he came here, the food in the entire world combined is less than a fraction of the food in Dragon Kingdom. If he doesn't come here, where will he go? Oh, this nostalgia. Seeing his compatriots everywhere, Chen Shi felt happy and felt friendly from the bottom of his heart. No matter when, no matter where, even across the universe, his bloodline is telling him that you are a descendant of Yan and Huang. It's not like he hasn't thought about going back and taking a look. It may be just a thought for him, but who can he go back to see? He is no longer a stranger in a foreign land, but a stranger wandering the universe. He has no friends at the moment. No, he has been without any friends since he was a child. He might as well stay here and not disturb him. He is now the source of the virus, and all kinds of things can always find him. Why not stay here like Huo, a bunch of white ghosts? Why bother to cause trouble to the compatriots? He looked at it for a long time in a happy mood, and finally saw a restaurant specializing in Shandong cuisine. Chen Shi walked in with his feet raised. If nothing else, Shandong cuisine is generous in portion and tastes good, so it is most suitable for a guy like him who needs big fish and meat. Hey, compatriots, my little brother looks familiar to me. Everyone who comes here often looks familiar to me. The boss is very enthusiastic and knowledgeable. It can be seen at a glance that Chen Shi is from Longguo, and he greets everyone very familiarly. This rough voice with a slight local accent made Chen Shi feel more at ease. He also smiled and said, "Yes, it's my first time coming here. It feels like I'm back home. The decoration and layout look friendly and reassuring. Look around and see the typical Chinese decoration style. Hey, that's right, my little brother is here for the first time today. Just order whatever you want and I'll give you a 50% discount. Haha, don't be polite, we are all from my hometown." The boss is very generous, and it is not difficult to see that the gentlemen of Kilu Daddy are generous. Okay, you're welcome then. I have a big appetite, so don't feel bad when the time comes. Chen Shi said with a teasing smile. Haha, don't worry, we have enough. He smiled and handed over a menu. Chen Shi took the menu and swished it wildly. Although he ordered too much, he could eat it if he wanted to. This operation shocked the boss, and he asked in a loud voice, "Little brother, I am not too talkative, can you eat alone? A dozen or so people only order these dishes. If you can't eat them, it's really a waste. You can't waste money if you have it." The restaurant owner was very honest when he said that he could not afford to waste food, but Chen Shi could really afford to eat these. "Don't worry, I can really eat it. I'm a big eater." Well, the customer is God. The restaurant owner has no choice but to do what he ordered. Since it was still early in the morning and it was not the peak eating period, it would be later, so the food was served very quickly, and everything was served within half an hour. The portions of Shandong cuisine are generous, and they are all served in large bowls. Chen Shi eats them while serving them. It takes half an hour to cook, and Chen Shi eats them in half an hour. There is no delay. This scene made the hotel owner and the waiters go crazy. "I beg you, this is really edible." People dare to say this because they have two brushes. However, people started to arrive one after another, and it was already dinner time. At this time, the reputation of Chinese food has spread throughout the world. Many Japanese people always feel that they can't get used to Chinese food, but the slap in the face always comes too quickly. No one in this world can escape the great philosopher Wang Jingxi's law of true fragrance. As long as you eat it for the first time, you will never forget the delicious food. At this point, white ghosts, black ghosts, and gray ghosts have all arrived. Of course, most of them are our own compatriots. People who are used to delicious food can't get used to hamburgers and fried chicken. At this time, the quarrel between a white mother and her son attracted everyone's attention, including Chen Shi. "I don't want to eat this. I don't want to eat here." The little boy struggled hard, with an unhappy look on his face, and made a loud noise. "I won't eat. I won't eat. I want a burger, too." His mother was patiently persuading. "Baby, I ordered so much, you can try it." Unexpectedly, the little boy dropped his chopsticks and shouted, "How does this taste? It's too oily." The mother had no choice but to comfort her. Okay, if you don't want to eat, let's go eat hamburgers." After saying that, the mother took the child and left in a hurry after paying the bill. Chen Shi shook his head and smiled bitterly when he saw this, thinking of the past. "Oh, I am so blessed that I don't know how lucky I am. When I was as old as you, I could only compete with wild dogs for food." Chen Shi, who had almost eaten, called the boss. "Check out, how much is it?" "Brother is not an ordinary person, let me see." The boss lowered his head and took out his calculator and clicked it for a while, then said with a smile, "I'll give you a 50% discount and charge you 300 yuan. "Okay, thank you boss, see you next time." Chen Shi is not short of money, but he doesn't want to destroy other people's wishes. I took out my bank card to pay the bill and was about to leave. Chen Shi found a teenage girl sitting at the door looking inside. The girl's little face was dirty, her clothes were dirty and covered with dust, and her big, bright eyes were now filled with sadness and fear. She was holding a teddy bear in her hand, which was also dirty. She was a little timid and hesitant. Maybe this only teddy bear can give her some companionship and a sense of security. Chen Shi could feel that she was really hungry. But she didn't dare to come in and order something to eat, out of fear or cowardice, or more probably because she felt embarrassed. Chen Shi stared at the girl blankly, motionless, and his eyes began to turn slightly red involuntarily. She really looks like him before, the one who ate one meal but never finished it. He was so similar to her now. He had also been so helpless, confused, and lonely. Afraid of being looked down upon by others, both he and she are wanderers. Even though there are thousands of wanderers, maybe this is fate, these two wanderers met. This one glance means 10,000 years. Chen Shi walked slowly in front of her step by step, slowly squatted down and wiped her face distressedly. The little girl was startled and immediately took a cautious step back. The stranger's actions frightened her greatly. The big frightened eyes were full of anxiety and vigilance, and the little body was already tense, ready to escape at any time. Chen Shi took a deep breath to make his warm eyes look normal. A man would not shed tears easily. Who are you? What do you want to do? The little girl asked vigilantly. Despite her appearance, children in these countries are very mature in their thinking. Don't worry, are you hungry? I'll take you to eat. The hand that wanted to fall to comfort her stopped in midair, but he reluctantly took it back. He didn't want to scare her. But I have no money, and the few dollars I brought with me have been spent long ago. The little girl whispered timidly. She was very helpless. What could a little girl who had just been abandoned do? It's okay, brother has money, let's go. Chen Shi said distressedly, wanting to hold her little hand and go inside. The little girl did not move, but said worriedly, no, I don't have money, the restaurant owner will kick me out. Can you pack up the rest of your meal for me? I'll be full if I just eat it. When hearing this humble request, Chen Shi could no longer hold back his tears. How much suffering had she suffered these past few days? He could imagine how a girl's world would collapse if she was suddenly like this. Chen Shi didn't know what the girl's condition was, but it could be seen from her clothes that she might have been from a wealthy family 2 days ago. Now she is the only one left after a family accident. No, the possibility is too low, most of them are abandoned. Brother, why are you crying? The little girl didn't understand why she suddenly shed tears. Chen Shi hurriedly wiped his tears and said with a smile, it's okay, sand just blew over. Let's go. My brother has money. He doesn't have much for anything but a lot of money. We won't eat leftovers. But the little girl still didn't move. I'm sorry, brother, I don't have money to pay you back. It's okay. I'm borrowing this from you. You can give it to me when you grow up. Don't you think you can't find a job when you grow up? Chen Shi said softly and comfortingly. I can. The girl said extremely firmly that the 2 days of wandering life made her know that she must survive tenaciously. That's right, you can return it to me when you grow up. Come on, let's go in. After Chen Shi finished speaking, he pulled her inside. Thank you, brother, I only need to eat a little. I only want one bite to eat, and I don't dare to expect anything else. Yeah, it's all up to you. Chen Shi said softly. Boss, I'm here again to cook something delicious for my sister. She's been too hungry these past 2 days, so it shouldn't be too greasy. They all saw Chen Zai's gentleness and kindness. The restaurant owner was also deeply moved and waved his hand generously. Brother, look at it. We all understand that we can't ask you to pay this time. I still have some money. After saying that, Chen Shi left in a hurry without giving Chen Shi time to refuse. Chen Shi laughed dumbly. These are the people from his hometown. If anyone has any difficulties when traveling, please help if you can. The little girl was still afraid of strangers, so she sat quietly, lowering her head and gently stroking her little teddy bear. Maybe this is her only toy and only companion, right? The owner of the restaurant must have given special instructions. In less than 5 minutes, he brought out a bowl of tremella and lotus seed soup to warm her stomach first. Soon they were served corn ribs, yam, fungus, cauliflower and shrimp, and several side dishes, which were mainly light and nutritious. If you are extremely hungry, you can't eat or drink too much. The restaurant owner is doing this on purpose. Thank you, brother, thank you, uncle. The girl bowed very politely, her pearl-like tears slowly dripping down. She had encountered so many blank stares in the past 2 days, but only this place brought her a trace of warmth. Girl, don't be polite, it's all a trivial matter. The restaurant owner waved his hand and said with a grin. He was very satisfied that he could help people in urgent need. Okay, let's eat first. Aha, the girl ate happily and did not gobble it up. She chewed it ladylikely and slowly while Chen Shi watched quietly from the side. More than 10 minutes later, the girl finally finished eating, wiped her mouth, went to the bathroom to rinse her mouth, and washed her face. This is an extremely cute girl, an authentic doll. Her long burgundy hair hung down her shoulders smoothly, and her big eyes began to shine with a moving light, as if she saw hope. The curled eyelashes fluttered like a cute butterfly. With slender eyebrows, a straight nose, slightly red cheeks, and tender pink lips slightly upward, the girl looks very lively and cute. Looking carefully, Chen Shi felt that this girl looked slightly familiar. He just couldn't remember who it was, but he would know it once he asked. Girl, what's your name? My name is. The girl was about to speak when she was interrupted. Hello, Mr. Chen Shi, can we go out and talk? The voice of the visitor was extremely gentle, which could also be described as gentle as jade. Chen Shi and the girl looked at them at the same time. The girl didn't recognize them, but Chen Shi was extremely familiar with them. The bald man sitting in a wheelchair has a compassionate smile, and his eyes are as deep as the sea, as if he can see through people's hearts, and no secrets can be hidden in his eyes. He is the spiritual mentor of the X-Men, the spiritual mentor of the mutants and their kind father, Charles Francis Xavier. The man pushing the wheelchair is also the most popular tragic man in Marvel's X-Men, Wolverine Logan. His resolute face has an unrestrained smile, and the thick beard on both sides makes him look even more fierce. Of course, he also smokes his signature cigar. It's just that the appearance of these two people made Chen-Chi very strange. They shouldn't have come to his door at this time, right? Apart from killing the soy sauce character Pyro John, he had no interaction with the mutants, and they did not appear. It just appeared suddenly today. Why? Suddenly, he thought of something and looked at the girl beside him. Is she a mutant? She shouldn't be. The system didn't respond. If she was a mutant, she would have warned herself. Although he was full of doubts, it was not a problem. Charles couldn't tell himself this right away. So, Chen-Chi nodded. He looked at the girl. Do you want to go with my brother? The girl hesitated. She could feel that Chen-Chi really cared about her, but she was like a dragster and didn't want to disturb his life. Child, come with us first. This matter is related to you and your parents. When the girl hesitated, she heard Charles's kind voice. She didn't expect it to be about herself and her parents. It was about her parents. Even though her heart was already broken, she still had to stir up trouble again. The girl nodded and agreed. As the master of the mind, the old man Charles naturally knows how to grasp people's hearts. Even without telepathy, he can figure out people's hearts. You can guess the psychology of such a little girl with your eyes closed. In fact, this matter is related to her. After a while, a few people came to a quieter tea house and sat down. Chen-Chi wondered, this Charles also knows tea. After brewing a pot of Bilawachun, Chen-Chi didn't know how to drink tea, and Wolverine certainly didn't understand either. He knew about vodka, but he didn't expect that Charles actually understood tea culture. Wash the tea, scald the cups and let them sit for 5 minutes, then pour a cup for each person. He was methodical, but Chen-Chi was even less anxious. He took a sip of the bitter yet slightly sweet tea, closed his eyes and slowly savored the taste. Anyway, he had something to ask for, so he was not in a hurry, and it must have something to do with the girl around him. Buzz. At this time, the 6 soul gems trembled slightly, and a faint golden light danced, like a candle in the wind. But this faint ray of light is like an unbreakable natural moat, blocking a spiritual invasion with just a flash. Naturally, the changes in the Mind Stone cannot be hidden from the owner Chen-Chi. Mr. Charles, don't waste your efforts. You can't break through my mind without the help of a brainwave amplifier. However, even if you use the brainwave amplifier, so what? You will probably still fail. Chen-Chi took a sip of tea, blew in the hot air, and spoke nonchalantly. The voice was very soft, and they all heard the calmness coming from Chen-Chi. So what about mind dominance? Can it be compared with the rules that cover the universe? You think you are the Phoenix Force. Even if this only exposes a trace of energy that is almost negligible. But this cannot be provoked by psychic abilities that cannot even cover the Earth. The Earth can be ignored in the universe. Haha, sorry, habit. Charles smiled awkwardly, obviously very embarrassed to have his petty behavior exposed, and his old face turned even red. Logan was also stunned. This guy is so strong. Then I have to finish him off. What mutants are most afraid of is telepathic guys, who kill people invisibly. If you didn't take Chen-Chi seriously before coming here, what are you afraid of the long-range mage? Of course, he is not afraid of anyone except Charles and Magneto Eric, and now he has more Chen-Chi. Forget it, let's talk about it. You're looking for us, right? Why are you looking for her? There must be something wrong with this old man's grinding and chirping, and he is hiding it. Well, in that case, I'll be honest. Charles's face straightened up for a moment before he revealed his true feelings. It's like this. 2 days ago, we discovered that a strong psychic wave broke out on a highway somewhere in the suburbs. Having said this, he slowly looked at the girl. It was obvious that she was the master of the spiritual power. The girl was stunned. Why didn't she remember? After the explosion, you fainted. Charles naturally saw her doubts and said softly. Could it be that his family's car accident had something to do with him? Did he kill his mother? No wonder his father wanted to drive him away. The girl was secretly saddened that she was the culprit. She was the one who killed her mother. Her tears could no longer be stopped and flowed down her face. Oh, Mom, I'm sorry, I killed you, I'm sorry. Cry, just cry. Chen Shi comforted her softly and patted her back. She couldn't keep her emotions in her heart. Holding them back would be bad. He already knew who she was. Qin Gray, the strongest host of the Phoenix Power, the White Phoenix King, can mobilize the Phoenix power of all parallel universes at its peak. Of course, the Jean Grey here is just the weakest Jean Grey among countless parallel universes. This is the movie universe after all, but she is still too powerful to be solved. But when Charles saw Chen Zai's eyes and movements, he felt endless entanglement in his heart, entangled. It was so entangled that his balls ached. Obviously, it would be too difficult for him to take away Jean Grey. However, he still has to work hard. He continued. When we discovered and found his home, Jean Grey had already disappeared. I invaded her father's mind and found out that Qin Gray had been kicked out of the house by him. But Qin Gray's awakening is out of control. It's the kind that sometimes doesn't work. It means it's not fully awakened and needs a certain amount of time to accumulate strength. So I couldn't use the brainwave amplifier to find her instantly. Mutants in this world are easy to find, but there are too many ordinary people. I found her traces only after I checked them one by one. Having said this, Charles smiled bitterly. It's just that it's all such a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet Mr. Chen Shi while you were entertaining Qin Gray. However, I still hope that Jean Grey can go back to mutant school with me to learn to grow and control the use of her own abilities. Charles is full of emotion and has sincere feelings. Chen Shi knows that his starting point is for the good of Qin Gray and the safety of this society. But Chen Shi couldn't let Charles take Qin Gray away. Because Charles would kill Jean Grey and the mutant family. Charles's vision was limited to the Earth, and he did not understand the true grandeur of the universe. It would be foolish for him to try to use mortal strength to shake the power beyond the gods, even if it is just a larger fragment. So Chen Shi shook his head firmly and said to Charles decisively, I'm sorry, Charles, I can't let you take Qin Gray away, you will harm her. What? We will harm her? Our mutant school is the home of all mutants, how could we harm her? She is our family. Before the calm Charles could speak, the grumpy Wolverine couldn't help but ask a question loudly. Logan, please be quiet and don't be anxious, Charles said in a deep voice, and then looked at Chen Shi, wondering why Chen Shi said this. Qin Gray, who was crying here, also stopped crying and looked at Chen Shi with tearful eyes. She only believed in him now. Seeing everyone eagerly waiting for his answer, Chen Shi smiled slightly. Charles, do you know what ability Jean Grey awakened? It should be psychic ability. What I feel is psychic fluctuations, but the specific details cannot be determined until tested. Charles answered Chen Zai's rhetorical question very rigorously. He was not sure that he, a professor, could not make rash judgments before. Yes and no, she did awaken telepathy, but she also awakened other abilities. Chen Shi said lightly. What? Second ability? Charles, Logan and Jean Grey were all surprised. The lowest level of telepathy is level 3, usually level 4. I didn't expect that this little girl actually has a second kind. Is she another White Queen? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.